There we go. Oh, it's good to have my voice back. That was weird. I've not had a cold take out my voice for as long as that one did. How's everybody doing? How's my sound? This hasn't been that long since it feels like it's been forever because I haven't been recording my regular videos on time and no stream last week. No idea how my sound equipment's doing. Also my frame rate. I feel like that was just stuttering for a second, or was that my imagination? Sounds great. Thank you, Jason. Our save seems to have survived, so that's good. I finally went through. You guys are. I don't know if I've shown you guys how big my save folder usually is, but for once I've just got like 6 saves. I went through and backed everything up and got it out of there because I was trying to get to an old save for testing, and I kept having to go back to it over and over again. I always keep a save called clean save, which is basically like just out of the vault or just before the exit of the vault with no mods installed, so that way I can test new stuff because we're doing alpha testing right now. And I kept having to load the save, and I was scrolling down. And it would literally take 20 seconds of holding on to the holding down to get to the bottom, and I finally had enough. You and the sound seem good. Awesome. Hey, Quester. I gotta remember what we were doing. What's our quest situation here? Go speak with the ASAM stranger. Oh, that's right. We were doing some basic questing, trying to show how quickly you can get plus stuff up and running in automated mode. Save files aren't small either. I know the amount of space I have used on my hard drive for save files is pretty outrageous. I actually need to move them to my Google Drive because they're taking up a lot of hard drive space. Let's see what time is it. 8:53. Okay, we got a few minutes to. I don't really need to poke around anymore. That's what's kind of funny about new save. I don't have a bunch of maintenance tasks to do, and presumably I'll just never will. I'll just like be able to, because we're playing in automated mode, so I will basically have not much to do in the pregame sections. I guess that means I can do things like get blown up by landmines. I guess I can spend more time looting or upgrading weapons. I guess is what I can use the extra time for. Oh, we could start using the pregame time for me to go play play with vendors and buy all my junk. Get that shotgun ammo built up. What do we got here? Back storage key. I feel like I went up here and did this. Probably. Oh, I like that hat a lot. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. We're gonna wear that hat. So this is what we're gonna do with our extra time. We're gonna waste it on nonsense. Yes. Oh, it looks really terrible on Nora. That's all right. We'll change it out later. Deep Dive Gaming. Looks like I'm starting a new playthrough of my stream. Too much in HQ is broken. Don't know what mod or mods are doing me in, but time to strip most of them away and try again. Well, definitely if you get down to a minimal load order, and you can replicate a problem, keep sending that to me. I'm happy to take a look at it. But, yeah, the save you sent me the other day, I popped it in. I was expecting to get another bug added to the fix list, and everything worked. What's the back storage key for? Isn't that for something? Oh, here it is. I was like, isn't that something over here? Why didn't you? Is that not what that key's for? Oh, is there a safe in here? Is that what it is? I'm so glad I checked YouTube before I posted. So I almost posted my video real quickly thinking I was going to post it with the title of join me while we watch the Game Awards and play some Sim Settlements. And then I realized it was Thursday before I posted that, thankfully. Well, I saw on there that I went to the channel for the Game Awards to see what time it was starting, and then it was like, oh, tomorrow. Oops, lost a day there somewhere.
Locked tight.
No, that's not what that's for. What is that back storage for? Come on, dog meat, you got him. NoScope 1080. I'm sure where the setting is to turn off auto upgrades on residential, or the settings I tried to use didn't change anything. So usually when the settings you change and they don't react how you expect them to, that's usually because you're using city plans. So when you use a city plan, the settings actually get set to almost entirely automated by default. If you want that behavior to stop, I'll show you in the holotape. That way you're covered whether you're playing in Xbox or PC. But if you go into the gameplay settings, there's a setting called involvement. So if we go down to, it's under city building, under involvement, if you change this to match global, it'll make it so that your local settlements will match whatever you set globally. But if it's set to low or anything else, if it's set to anything but match global, then whenever you build a city plan, the city plan will have different settings in the local settlement than what you set globally. So that might be what you're running into. And you can also you can confirm that, and you can change them if you go to a city planner's desk. Which, did I not build one here yet, or did I stuff it over there and I just missed it when I was walking right by? If you go to the terminal in the city planner's desk, which I thought I had one, but apparently I don't. If you go under the options while you're in the terminal on the city planner's desk, there'll be a local settings section, and there'll be a lot of different options there that are different than what you see. They're similar to the ones that are in the holotape or in your MCM settings, but they're only for the settlement you're standing in. So that's where I would head to if you're having weird disconnects where you're setting an option and it seems like it's not working. I mean, there is a chance that there's just a bug setting, absolutely. Some of the lesser used settings I know have sat bugged for quite a long time, and then somebody finally decides to start playing with it and digs in and finds out that it's not working no matter what they do, and then they get me a report on it. But I'm pretty sure auto upgrades we've tested backward and forward, and that one is working. Like, that was a recent thing. That was actually, I think that was one of the things Deep Dive Gaming kept giving me a lot of feedback on, was the different combinations of turning off auto upgrades was creating some really weird behavior, and so we got those fixed up in the last couple of patches. Oscar Fry, you should add a mod that adds the card game Caravan to FO4 and you can play it for an hour on stream. I still to this day don't think I understand how Caravan works. I never bothered to read the rules on it, so I never really got into it. I get into some card games. Like, I really loved Gwent. I played a lot of the card game in Final Fantasy VII, which I can't even remember the name of it because I haven't played Final Fantasy VII since I was a teenager. So I don't, and I never played the remake. The graphical upgrade looked really attractive, but I was told by other fellow lovers of it back in the day that the remake is cool, but if I have a lot of great nostalgia for the original, I should just leave it at that. And so I decided to do that because I have too many games to play and not enough time to play them anyway. Not crazy. I know it's too late, but was it ever discussed that instead of sending Stodge away, that his half of the group would get their own settlement? No, I don't think that was ever discussed. I think, yeah, I don't think that ever came up. I think it was always the plan that he would just wander away. Would be one of the multiple endings that you could attain from that little quest. The key is to unlock the shack where the workshop is. Oh, okay, but I already picked that lock earlier. Okay, cool. I was curious what that was for. It seemed like it should have been for something a little harder than a novice lock, because that's way far away. Like, that's way up there to get that for this. No scope 1080. Yes, I've been adding city plans to settlement, so I'm sure that's why. Yeah, it's one of those, and I'm like looking at when I looked at my settings, it looked like Match Global was on by default, which is odd. That made me think that is there something funky with involvement settings again? Involvement was one of those settings that, like, on paper, yeah, they're set to none. Okay, but I think it was in the terminal they showed, or in my, and the City Manager holotape they showed wrong. Anyway, involvement settings was one of those ones where when I added it to SS1, they were like a lifesaver, and then in SS2, I think they've caused folks more confusion, which is interesting. Yeah, see, it says involvement match global in the holotape. So I wonder if it's screwed up in the holotape. That's odd, because it shows none on... I have to look into that. Anyway, all right. Well, it is 9 o'clock now. Welcome, folks, to my live stream. This is episode 2 of what I'm calling Easy Mode. And that is basically, I have started up a new SS2 playthrough. I chose in the City Planner's holotape, when you first load it, you get prompted with a question of whether you're new or not. If you're new, what it does is it matches your difficulty settings to your gameplay settings. So if you're in easy, or, and I went to the wrong screen. If your gameplay settings, if your difficulty is on easy or, what is it, very easy, it will do what we call automated mode. If you're in normal, hard, or I think very hard, I think all three of those, you get put in what's called city builder mode. And if you're on survival, you get put in hardcore mode. And what we did is we're playing in normal, and I hit returning user, because obviously I played before. When you hit returning user, you get to select from those 3 profiles, and we selected automated. And then I'll probably tinker with some settings as we go to change things up even a little more beyond that. And basically with automated mode, it removes almost all of the management features of SimSettlements 2. So then your focus is basically, what plot do you want to put down and where do you want to stick city plans? And that's about it. That's about as much as you really have to think. And then you can just play the quests and enjoy the automated building of SimSettlements. So it's a lot closer to what SimSettlements 1 was, because SimSettlements 1 didn't have a ton of mechanics. Like, for the most part, SimSettlements 1 was build plots, and there would be the dynamic needs, and that was pretty much it. And so SS2 is where we kind of got in deep with lots of mechanics. And so after my first playthrough, which just wrapped up, the edited episode 39 that just went up the other day, that is the final episode of that series until chapter 3 comes out, and then I'll resume it. But with this, the goal is to show you that, hey, all those weeks and weeks I spent tinkering with my settlements, trying to get numbers just right, like, if you don't like that, or if that was a turnoff, this is another way you can play. So today we're going to continue just questing and building up as we find settlements and whatnot. I don't know how much of the main quest I'm going to do again. I'm just doing it for just something fun to do again. I'm answering differently to Jake this time, getting access to unlocks, and it's adding a nice pacing. Like, this is kind of the way the mod was designed to play, was to have you go back and forth between building settlements for a bit and then go do some quests, whether it's ours or the vanilla game or other mod quests, but back and forth. And that way, by the time you come back, your settlements will have built, you'll have more settlers to build for, etc. So, like, right now, I've got enough stuff for all these guys, so there's nothing for me to do here anyway, so it's a perfect time to go quest, because I want to do anything but pass time by waiting and sleeping. That is, to me, like, anytime I find myself doing that, I feel like, or even in our own gameplay loop, when I feel like I'm doing that or other people are wanting to do that, I feel like that's a failed gameplay loop right there. Like, the gameplay loop should never involve hitting wait or sleep to pass time. If you're new to my stream, if you've never watched me stream before, a couple things to note. One, I am a notorious rambler, I think is the good enough phrase for it, in that I will just let my thoughts go and I'll chase them around all over the place. Sometimes you'll hear some interesting dev stories from me. Other times it'll be totally about nothing involving the game whatsoever, just whatever I feel like talking about. If you're not down with that, probably not the stream for you. I don't know if we're going to do edited versions of this easy mode or not. We'll probably determine that after the new year. For now, we're not worrying about it. We got a lot of backlog content to catch up with on the channel, so I don't have time for edited versions of the videos. But so what I do to make up for all that stuff is I focus entirely on the game for the first half of the stream most of the time, so that I at least can stay somewhat focused. And then after I get to about 10:30ish, 11 o'clock, then I switch gears, focus on you guys, and then I ramble to your questions instead of just to wherever my mind decides to go. What is going on with this music? Are you guys hearing this, or is that from the game, or do I have some sort of video playing in the background? Do you guys hear this? It sounds like I got like a video playing. That's from the game? It is. Where is that coming from? I mean, I vaguely feel like I've heard this music, but why am I hearing it here all of a sudden? The classical. Oh, did I turn on the radio by mistake? I did. Ha! I was like, what is going on here? I'm losing my mind. It sounded like some cinematic music kicked in because of some event. I was like, did I trigger some event I've never seen before in Fallout 4? All right, you guys, gonna give me just a second. I got the wife is asking me questions. All right, there we go. Okay, Jason Locrance, thank you so much for the donation. He says, the Chapter 3 teaser was beyond amazing. Let's go! Yeah, that trailer came out really good. Pontus is insanely talented. Nihar, too, with his animations. Oh, man. And then SAG getting all some of that crazy stuff working. Like, we have full control over Liberty Prime now. Feels really cool. So I'm not going to talk much about the beyond what you saw in the trailer because I don't want spoilers. I don't even ask anybody here who gets the Patreon dev update videos. They'll know I am very tight-lipped about story stuff. Like, that to me is like the most important surprise I can leave you guys with. I guess I gotta turn this radio off so we don't get copyright striked.
Excuse me.
Oh, hey there. Didn't expect to be seeing you again. Is something up? It's not the ASAMs, is it?
That's why I'm here.
So it is.
Didn't have a
the
mean.
sensors
I'm
up
going all angry options if I've got them.
Look,
Anything that's
I'll
like
tell you the same
impatient
thing I told the
or
others.
cruel,
I know it may
whatever
seem
I've got. That's what I'm
confusing,
going with today.
but
Oh, this
trust
playthrough.
me, just stick with it. Keep building with them, and provide your people with proper supervision. Eventually, it'll all make sense.
What else do you have?
What else?
I think leave little. There's
The sensors aren't enough.
If you haven't
really.
tried them much, I know they're throughout a lot of our quests.
Well, that's
There's
a first.
often a
Most
chance
people
for you to
complain they
say,
say they're too
you know, I'm not
complicated.
ready for that yet.
one's ever asked
That
for
was
more.
something that when
starting
Sarek,
to
when he
get
was
the
writing this
feeling
quest,
you're
wanted to make sure
not
that
exactly
if
like
people
most people,
weren't feeling the story or were trying to
Alright,
weave
darling,
our story in
consider
with
me
other
curious.
quests, they could do so
What's the
easily.
story?
So there's like we
Like, for
spent
starters,
so
that
much
pit program
time
risk.
doing
there's a
reapproach
tale behind
lines
that.
and testing where we have the conversation. Like if I hit leave back there, Jake will basically okay, and then if you come back to him, he doesn't start the whole conversation all over again. He'll have different re-entry lines. So if you ever are just hungry for more Jake lines, he has more reapproach lines than any character probably in this entire game. There's so many of them.
Why do you care?
It's not every day someone trips over a Pip-Boy. Heck, took me years to find mine. So where'd you get yours?
Not your business.
It's none of your business.
Sorry, didn't mean to shove my nose where it's not welcome. I was just curious was all. You see, not many folks walk around with one of those things. Well, unless they're from a vault. Say, that wouldn't happen to be where you're from, would it? A vault?
All right, I'm getting a message. Somebody said my game audio is a little low. I got it up pretty high. I don't want to go too crazy because then you guys won't hear me anymore.
I was in a vault. They put me in cryogenic freeze. I woke up at one point. Some people killed my husband and kidnapped my son. I'm trying to find him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know what that's... Well, I know something like that ain't easy. You might be surprised how common that kind of thing is out here. I mean, not the frozen in a vault part, but... I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I don't mean to pick at fresh wounds. But what you said about being frozen, are you telling me you're pre-war? Before the bombs?
Rude.
What do you think, smart guy?
Whoa. Well, that's amazing. You really aren't like most people. Then, if you don't mind my asking, why is a vault dweller from the past bothering with settlements and ASAPs?
Okay, we need to do a quick poll here because that something just occurred to me. You guys have seen so my first playthrough goal was to showcase all the quests. So I tried to shut up as much as possible if one of our characters talking. But now this is number 2, and I think it's a lot of the same folks joining me for this ride. Do you guys want me to skip dialogue? Because I'm happy to do so. And we can stop and listen if I hit a new line, or should we? Let's do a poll. We'll say skip dialogue. Yes, no, add option, unless you say something angry. That's the one I think is going to win. But we'll see. Oh, I should spell angry correct. I'll see what everybody says to this. Let's do blood and money.
Blood, bullets, and money. All the way.
Oh, well, that's certainly one way to go. I mean, if you're looking for caps, a successful settlement can give you that. And success often brings nefarious attention. So if you're spoiling for a fight, you won't have far to look. Well, guess that explains why you're so serious about this settlement stuff.
Nothing helps with settlements like blood and bullets.
Raiders! Hurry!
Raiders again? I'm sick of those guys.
Back at the settlement, a whole bunch of them. They've taken hostages, please. You gotta hurry.
Damn raiders are like rad roaches. You crush one and 5 more crawl out. Well, don't you worry, darling. I got your back. You helped me with my raider problem. Only right I help you with yours.
Don't need help. I think you can actually tell him that, and he stays here. Let's see what that. Let's try it.
I don't need the help.
All right, if you're sure. Good luck with those raiders. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Come on, get the lid.
Yeah, we'll
out,
try that.
move,
We'll try and
before
do.
somebody gets killed.
I love old Paul's lines there. His delivery is fantastic. Yeah, I'll try that. Try to do some like different lines and stuff to show you guys a different way to play through some of these quests, so we can at least get some new variety out of this playthrough beyond just the mechanics. Definitely looks like the something angry vote is winning. We'll let it run for a little bit while I get this next thing going. Come on, lead the way, old Paul. I also need to try and catch that private signal. I'll show you guys that. I don't know if I ever showed it in the first playthrough. I think it plays between like midnight and 5 a.m. or something, if you guys are ever looking for a little Easter egg. Oh, we got some friends here. Where are you? Trust it. And that's right, we're in a VATS playthrough. Right. Cheat mode activated. I felt like I was in God mode. I still got AP left. Crazy. Can you try the lock and load type option? Is that one of the, yeah, if it's one of the options when, I'm going to be doing the aggressive options at all times. Aggressive and mean options. Like Stodge, probably going to die when we get to him. Whoa. Oh, there he is. I was like, what happened to old Paul? Uh-oh. This is something that, like, this, speaking of Stodge, this happens around that quest a lot, too. It's like Stodge and friends will often just be fighting random bugs that spawn because of random encounters. This is one of the reasons you see very few in the world quests for the main quest. Like, they try and almost all of them, Bethesda keeps inside of interior cells because it's just safer. Alright, let's go see what these guys want.
Hold it. Take one step closer and I shoot.
Do it. Oh, the no is now winning. Nobody wants me to skip dialogue is taking the cake. We'll make the decision when I get back to Jake next. So if you guys are, if you're hungry for one type or the other, it looks like no and except during angry responses are the close ones. All right, let's go and do it.
Go ahead.
What? Don't you understand? I'm saying I'll kill them. I'll kill all of them.
I don't care.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah? Well, maybe you'll care when we kill you instead.
Oh, they got that settler. Head exploded. Saved a crit for you, buddy. You know what this playthrough is going to need also is some jet. We're going to be playing everything in slow-mo. We're going to have slow-mo in a can. Oh, that was old Paul I almost attacked. I have any other weapons? Whoa! Didn't see you there.
Ain't scared yet.
Uh-oh. Get to some cover. Oof.
No! Don't you die on me!
Come on. So many stimbacks. Oh, and they're so bad, too. There we go. Pop. Did we get them all? Where's old Paul?
Excuse me.
Dang it. More young'uns gone before their time. Hold on, it looks like we've more company. Oh, it's just the ASAM fella. What's he doing here?
Hey, I hope you don't mind, but I wanted to check on you. Make sure everything went okay. Looks like things didn't go well. What a damn shame. Say, before you had to run off,
So
there's something I wanted to
if
ask
you do that, what I just
This maybe
did,
isn't
but
the most
you
appropriate
actually
time or
negotiate
thing
or
for a
talk down that
chit-chat,
raider,
but
Jake
have you
should
done that?
react differently. He's supposed to like not be like, oh, shame it didn't go well or not. So there's like all sorts of different combinations of stuff for here. So Rick was pretty hardcore about like respecting and offering player choice throughout this, which was impressive because you generally don't get that a whole lot in Fallout 4. Let's see. Not now is the appropriate like angry response, but I think that dismisses him and basically puts one of those delays in, which we're not trying to do. So
Of course. What's up?
Well, this may seem abrupt, but the Commonwealth. By now, I'm sure you've experienced enough to form an opinion about it, so tell me, what do you think of it all?
All right, poll ended, and there was a general consensus of no, don't skip dialogue. You guys want to hear the story again, so that's great. All right, so let's go aggro on my answers still.
It's the same old thing. People fighting each other instead of working together. Everything going to hell, but no one doing anything about it.
Hit the nail right on the head. Couldn't have put it better myself. It's a real mess out here. People living in dirt, barely enough food or clean water, random attacks from raiders, ferals, or God forbid, synths. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be that way. It just might be possible to bring back a measure of the civilization to the wastes. Like what you used to have.
Sorry, Quester, I just realized I don't know if I missed the lock and load option or if I just didn't click it or if it didn't show up to me because the first option I chose, I don't actually know where that is in that dialogue tree.
Do you really think that's possible?
You've already seen firsthand what ASAMs can do. And you've shown interest in what more you can get out of them. What if I were to tell you, we've only scratched the surface? And maybe, if you're willing, we could perhaps do more than you ever imagined. I've got plans, but I feel they'd go a whole lot smoother if I had a reliable partner to ride shotgun. So, what I propose is a partnership. You and me, working together to try and rebuild the Commonwealth. What do you say?
Depends. What's in it for me?
You're wanting to build settlements, right? Well, join with me, and we'll make settlements that are the envy of the entire wasteland.
All right, I'm in.
Hell yeah! You are not gonna regret this! I suppose a proper introduction is in order. Name's Jake. Jake Evans. And it's a pleasure to be working with you.
Don't waste time.
Let's not waste time with small talk.
All right. With the formalities out of the way, let me answer a query of yours. Earlier, you showed an interest in getting more out of ASAMs. Now, if that's something you really are serious about, then I know where to find the equipment we need. However, there is a small problem.
I was just about to freak out. I hear footsteps. It's the settlers still trying to find a path home. Got my own problems.
I got my own problems.
I know. But just bear with me. You see, the place with the ASAM equipment has been claimed by a raider gang. Really dug their heels in. And they're not open to doing trade. But I reckon together we could break into the little base and grab what we need. However, we would be in for a tough fight. So, you think you'd be up for that? Taking on a raider stronghold?
Don't worry. I'll help you deal with these raiders.
Well, all right. Now, this equipment we're after was delivered from Concord Hardware to an old Air Force satellite station called Olivia. So that's where we'll be heading. But before we go there, might want to make a pit stop or two. I understand a nearby farm has had recent dealings with this particular group of raiders. It might be worthwhile asking them about it. See if we can't get more up-to-date intel. Also, I've got a small cache of gear hidden nearby Olivia. It's probably still there. Would be useful for our little venture. I'll mark your Pip-Boy with our points of interest, but it's up to you what we do. I'm handing over the reins.
Okay, up to Satellite Station Olivia go. Let's see what time of night it is. 9:21. I don't think the signal will be playing right now, but we'll get close to Concord after we talk to Abernathy and get their little side quest. That sound effect is so
I could
awful.
join the Minutemen and help defend the Commonwealth.
Oh, honey, listen. It's brave of you to say so, and it's good that you want to help people. But we need you here. Besides, your mother would never forgive you.
I know. It's just, well, I'm almost a grown woman, and I just don't know if this is the life I want. You understand, don't you, Daddy?
Yes, darling, I do. But after what happened with Mary, well... let's just give things time to settle down, okay?
Okay.
Don't mind me, I'm going to
That's
just
close
stand
enough,
on this
stranger.
chair.
We're a peaceful farm. We don't want any trouble.
Not worth it.
Neither do I. Just passing through.
If you say so, but be warned, we're armed here, so don't try anything. Let me tell you, farming ain't easy. Out in the field all day, every day, and every minute of it spent watching your back.
This is pathetic.
You call this a farm? It's pathetic.
Yano, I think you best be moving on.
Well, guess we won't be getting that side quest. Jake doesn't have anything to say about that. I think he only comments if you help them. I feel like I'm playing a Raider character all over again. I think I'm gonna go back to only being mean to Jake just to hear his dialogue, because I do want to get more quests and stuff so I can get XP and I'll level up faster. Oh my god, can't shoot a bloatfly. That's why we have cheat mode. Oh, yeah, I think we leveled up. Speaking of it, oh, we leveled up twice. I'm behind the curve on that. Oh, yeah, I think I was trying to get more luck so I could get deeper into this tree, because I want all the things in here. Okay, and then we need to head over to Satellite Station. Oh yeah, and we're gonna see if we can listen to the signal. See what we get out of it. I'm not close enough yet. Right on the edge of town, I think you get it. Yeah, there it is. Let's see if it's ready to play yet. No, not yet. I think it's like real late at night when it starts playing. It also doesn't make it doesn't really make sense for it to play while I've got Jake following me, but I think we didn't bother to get that nitpicky with the enable and disable triggers, because the more of those you got to track, the more likely you introduce really bad bugs in the mod. Alright, while we're making this long walk, let's back up on chat here. Oscar Var, will you ever add audio message of Jake's daughter trying to talk back to Jake via radio? That is not up to me. This is Sir Rick's story, so he will, but he probably won't answer you because on that question, because we're still working on story content. Yagi, was it ever fixed that the settler whose head just exploded actually becomes a settler rather than a guy named that? I don't know. I'm guessing if there's still a bug listed on GitHub, it has not been fixed yet. That is my guess.
Checked out the area. Aha! Looks like it's all still here.
It's funny, a lot of because of the way I tend to approach the GitHub list, a lot of stuff that's reported in the middle of the timeline between when SS2 launched and now, you look great, air quotes. Let's go with I don't care. Anyway, the stuff that ended up being reported like kind of within, I don't know, 8 to 12 months after SS2 came out, has kind of been stuck in limbo because I tend to either go from the beginning, like, or from the newest stuff that you guys report, so I can look for the low-hanging fruits and make sure those get knocked out, or I try and go back from the beginning and like comb through and deal with the really nasty ones. And so then the stuff in the middle tends to lose much of my attention. So it's likely just sitting in that pool of bugs where I keep missing them because I'm working from either the front or the back and not in the middle. I probably need to just do like a middle out patch. Just spend the time working on the all the bugs that are like right in the middle of the pool.
I don't care.
I know, stupid question. Here, hopefully you like what you got better.
We're going to be helmet buddies. Did he give me the helmet, or do you only get that if you're nice to him? I can't remember. Nope, you did get it. All right, well, let's see how this looks, because my current helmet looks really stupid. All right, we're going to be helmet buddies. I think I did this with Nate, too, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll be helmet buddies for a little bit.
Wait up! I'm gonna hold back, scout the area for nasties. I'll let you deal with the raiders directly outside Olivia. Once you're done taking out the trash, I'll meet you at station's entrance.
Let's get this over with.
Alright, just don't go too far away.
I don't remember. I remember this being like a lot of trouble to get implemented. I think at one point in testing, if you ran ahead of him, it might still be like this, honestly, but I haven't seen a bug report on it. But I think early on in a draft of this first quest, if you ran ahead of him and skipped that dialogue, like when you said wait, if you didn't wait, then I think it broke the quest. I hope that's not the case now.
Shit!
I love that he just stands there as you walk up to him.
End of the line!
Doesn't have time to react to the run up. It seems like nobody's reacting to me. Is that like a secret effect of luck? You walk right up to people before they catch you. Right in the nose. Alright, where's the exploding mole rat? Are we supposed to get attacked by that? Give me your ammo. Oh, didn't I have a laser musket? I thought that's what I was using last time. Or did I run out of ammo for it? Let's see here. Let's do some favoriting. Oh, I got some cells. Let's do this. We'll go. You are gonna go here. I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm not gonna mess with melee. If I run out, look at all these pipe pistols I got, or 10 milliliters I got. If I run out of ammo, we fist fight. That's how we roll.
Good job. You really don't like raiders, do you? There were a few lookouts around the perimeter, but I took care of them. Shouldn't have to worry about anyone raising the alarm. At least, not right now. Say, before we head in, would you care for a bit of advice?
No.
Whatever it is, I'm not interested.
Oh, all right then. I guess you know what you're doing. Come on, let's head on in.
Okay, here we go. SS Lance YT. Hi, King Guy. I just want to tell you the quest for the Ron. Knowledge equals profit, where you collect the holotape for him. He's not responding to me. It is bugged. I believe that quest is bugged depending on what combination you get. So that's actually a Radiant quest. And I think certain combinations are broken. So yes, you probably hit the bug. Isn't there? Yeah, so there's a mine in here. What did I just pick up? That was my magic. For some reason in my head, I thought I picked up a better weapon. I don't know. I think. Oh, I'm probably just thinking that thing's a weapon, but that's just fiber optics, effectively. There was so for a while. I think I talked about this last time I did this playthrough. We had it rigged up where Jake would comment on that laser thing, and then somehow it broke, or on this thing. And I don't remember why. I don't know why it broke, and I haven't bothered to fix it because bigger fish to fry.
Air Force kept a log of inventory, and it mentions a delivery from Concord right here. From Concord Hardware, delivery.
Aw, why didn't you melt?
Descender K.S. Magnuson, I have one industrial-sized Robco ComHub unit. ComHub. That must be the ACM equipment we're here for. And I think it's stored behind that door up ahead. Which is locked. Huh.
Doesn't care at all about his buddy. Just this guy was about to walk right over the corpse.
There's an extra level of security. Now, I reckon I could get through it, though. Just give me a few minutes. In the meantime, I'd appreciate if you take care of any raiders around. I don't like the idea of someone sneaking up.
Got you covered. 3 down. He finally was going to get up after the 3rd one. He heard a dog explode and caught his attention. Alright. Ooh, this is messy. Alright, step back. Where's the other guy? Where's the 3rd guy's Gibbs? Come on. I just saw it for a second. There it is. Anybody else down here? This area has interesting behavior. I've already cleared it. Oh, how so? Is it bug out, or is it just the quest kind of wonky? So I know we had at one point, because while this was all being written, we were working on Conqueror, and I remember because this is for Conqueror fans, they know we use this character over here, Akak. And so we had it written up, and there's actually a character in SS2 to replace Akak if his Conqueror is detected. So that way, the player doesn't go and murder a character, because we were going to try and make the 2 quests be able to play both of them. So like that Akak, we have a replacement for her available in the mod, but she should be disabled. I don't think we ever needed to use her because we never got Conqueror and SS2 story working simultaneously. Alright. Let's see. Nice. Hey, buddy. Wait, is that Jake? Was I about to just pop Jake in the head? Yes, I was.
Pack it in, boys. There's nothing out there.
Alright, let's find the last raider before we go talk to Jake. I don't know how Jake is over here. That's very odd.
Got it.
Nope, nope, not interested. Alright, I heard another raider. I heard him talking. Hello? I come bearing gifts. Let's see what happens. Yeah, no, he's not ready to talk because he's in the wrong spot and because there's still a couple raiders alive. There we go. All right, now I'm curious if he is if he's bugged out and I'm gonna have to do something. Oh no, there it goes. Let's see if he wanders back over here. In the meantime, get ourselves some loot. I think he just wanders back over here, but nope, he's gonna hang out down there. All right, let's go talk to him.
Mighty impressive. Thanks for the help. I was not enjoying the shootout developing there.
Always happy to kill.
Those raiders won't be bothering anybody again.
Oh, dang it. Dented my helmet. Oh, well, better than a bullet to the brain box. All right, let's get down to business.
What are you doing, Jake? He's really got to collect that cement. Very important. Dogmeat, are you blocking pathing? Oh, he wanted to inspect the cement and then the corpse.
Raiders interrupted as I was finishing up. Just need to hit the last few keys on the terminal and... Hey, presto! There we are. Let's take a peek inside, shall we? Help yourself to anything that takes your fancy. Only one thing I'm interested in, and I think it's right over here.
We will take that.
Perfect.
See if I can actually remember to get all the bobbleheads and magazines. I would say the chances are very low. You guys are almost always having me double back to get stuff that I miss.
Excuse me.
Well, well, well. What do we have here?
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
Would you look at that? Interesting.
Good old Bethesda AI.
I went through a lot of trouble for this. I hope it was worth it.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Take a look. Shipment label reads from Concord Hardware. This is definitely the equipment we're here for. No mistake there. This is the ASAM comm hub. As best as I understand it, this thing connects to the sensors somehow, allowing them to do more stuff. But I wouldn't really know how it does that until I turn it on. Although looking at it, doesn't look like time's been too kind to this old gal. I'm already seeing a fair number of damaged components. I wonder if it'll still be able to run.
Calm down, nerd. Oh, that's great.
Just relax, tech head.
All right, I hear you. I'll hold back my screwdriver until I've got this thing to the hardware store. Well, I'd say we're done here. We found what we came for. No reason to stick around. You were a big help. There's no way I could have done this by myself.
Yeah, you didn't do anything. You just stood in the room hiding.
So is that it?
For now, I'm afraid so. Sorry if things weren't exciting enough for you. See, if you've not already done so, now might be a good time to get your bearings. Still can't imagine how overwhelming all this must be for you. Maybe check in on any settlements you've got going. Or if you think you might need more sensors, there may be some not too far from here. A place called West Everett Estates. But I should warn you, area's overrun with super mutants. Might be a challenge for you, even after this.
Oh, we should do that. I don't think I ever did that last playthrough. We'll go do that. Why not? Maybe.
I'll think about it.
Well, if you do decide to go, take care. I'll contact you once I've looked over the comm hub. Hopefully by then I should have some idea of how it works. Until then, stay safe out there, alright? Oh, and again, great work today.
Okay, so I think there's a note on here somewhere. I thought there was. Is he blocking it? Is that it?
Now, how in the 9 circles am I gonna get this thing back?
I thought there was a note attached to this thing. Maybe this... Is it blocked right now? Come here, Jake. Move. Move.
Hi.
He's not interested. Am I crazy? Isn't there a note supposed to be on here? Like, there's that note, but I don't think I can interact with that. Oh, well. Okay, so there's the end of that quest. Oh, we can grab some more loot over here.
Sweet.
Whoops, didn't mean to grab all that, but we'll take it. Did I hit everything here? Nope, there I know I saw something else. There we go. Alright, let's head over to West Everett. Go talk to some super mutant buddies. Javier F. Sorry to bother, but where's the but have the no options were sent HQ bug been addressed? I mean, generally that's going to be a sign of script lag, or there is one case, I think, with the foyer, if you try and build there are no options available, and that's just we never shipped any with it, and that was something that we'll probably do eventually, but we've got so many things we're working on right now. But in the meantime, hopefully an add-on pack author will beat us to the punch there. And otherwise, yeah, I think most people, the most common reason to see that is script lag. Okay, where are we headed? West Everett. So that's going to be miscellaneous. It's going to be a long trek. Okay, well, we'll start hoofing it over there. Skywise, I posted on the forums, top floor refreshes, but not the lower lower floor, no new laser beam. So new laser beam and armory, but no new ACAC. I think we generally, when we do, when we reuse cells for quests, we generally just trigger a location reset on them, which is something you can do from scripts. And it resets. It's supposed to reset all the encounters, but I don't know how it actually works under the hood, so clearly it's not perfect. Uh-oh. Oh, it's a rad roach. I was like, what is that? You dug your own grave, it looks like. Quest WI for me, he spawns down in the bunker and runs up and sets off the laser trap. That's weird. Oh, I just heard something. What was that? Oh, it's just Dogmeat. Okay. Rachel, I was looking at the quest stage for the coolest cat, and there's one for pickpocketing the gunner outside the Rons. Is this for anything in particular? I think it's just, we have a lot of random, like perk dialogue checks just to like give a little flavor. And I think that has a note where you learn about, just learn a little bit more, just like background information. It's not anything particular. It's just flavor. Because if I recall correctly, I think that note like tips you off to either Algernon or Wes. I think it might mention Algernon. I think that's like the first hint you can find out about him before chapter 2. Like we had planted that in chapter 1. Because we were trying to, with each of the chapters, we try to put a little foreshadowing into the stuff we know is coming in the next one, so that, you know, anybody who goes and plays in deep while they're waiting, you know, like they're rewarded. And then it's, you know, I think it's the same thing like, you know, television shows do this now, like when they're trying to get another season, right? Is they'll make sure to drop hints at stuff that's not in yet, just to make the universe feel bigger, like the world feel bigger, and make everything feel like it's grounded and part of it from the beginning, like it was always planned. Because otherwise, it can start to feel soap opera-y if things are just happening out of nowhere. So we try and foreshadow some stuff. There's actually quite a bit of foreshadowing to chapter 3 content already in the mod. If you guys poke your heads around, and anytime you find anything that you can't figure out how it's connected to anything, it's probably us foreshadowing something. Quest WI, thank you for the donation. The note, it's on the table where the mag was. Oops, I missed it. Yeah, well, maybe we'll fast travel over there and grab it. Okay, now I'm getting distracted and lost. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, yeah, see, now I'm seeing all your guys chat about, check the table, it's on the table, there's a note by the stealth mag. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to, like, I knew there was going to be lulls like this because I haven't explored hardly any of the maps, so I was trying to, like, keep my chat scrolled up so I could catch everybody's questions, which I know I even missed some because my YouTube app jumps around really obnoxiously. Skywise, if you shoot the super mutants, it's a tough fight. Yeah, that fight is, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm gonna check. I think it's one of those ones where uh-oh. Thank God we got this. And we're gonna use it to get the heck out of here. The runaway jet. Oh God. Alright, did we get away enough? Where's Dogmeat back there tanking for us? Yagi, the quest skip command doesn't put the West Everett super mutants in your quest log anymore. Is that intended? The quest skipping thing is super complicated. Like, what we tend to do is we just try and put as minimal possible quest stages in there. Like, it doesn't just trigger every single quest stage, because then you would end up with, like, conflicting information. So, some of our quests actually do callbacks to things you answered in previous dialogue. So our automatic assumption is, all right, let's not trigger every single stage. There's also some stages where if you triggered them, they would cause even more script delay. So you know how, like, the skip command already takes a while to run. So if we had it trigger every stage, it would add a lot of unnecessary stuff. So we actually, the quest skipping, like, we manually rig up all the things that happen in the quest to happen. That's why you'll find random bugs with quest skipping, just because we effectively need to, like, go through quest by quest, test every one, and then look at all the game world and see, like, what potential issues came up with that. And, like, that's probably just something that slipped through the cracks. So the cheat commands are like a whole other level of debugging and maintenance that needs to be done on the quest. And then anytime we patch any of the quests, it often will break the quest skipping. It's a real pain. I'm happy we have it. Like, I actually want to add it for our side quests too, but it's a whole nother layer of the mod that has to be debugged. I don't know how I missed twice. All right. Oh man, we are low on ammo. Little ASAM poster hidden over here. So this is actually one of the spots where you could find a little stash of ASAM sensors in SS1. And I think all of the little places where we had hid the stashes, you will find some sort of ASAM reference if you look around for it. I could be wrong on that, but I remember having that discussion with the team and trying to figure out what to put. Whoa, why my camera got all weird there. Hello? Let's see, yeah, see. Oh, I think when we first released it, uh-oh. Where's he at? We got a little bug here. One of them's supposed to be standing right here, because if I run in... Oh, here we go. Oh no, I just haven't done it in a long time.
I crush you and feed you to dogs.
I thought the other guy was supposed to be standing there, but I'm wrong. I just haven't played this in ages.
Up yours.
Human what fight, Scout? Scout smash, human! That sound, what is it? Go away, bleeder! Quiet, Hammer! I talk for us! This super mutant land human! Sickle lead super mutants here! Why you come? Speak!
So, Conqueror fans, Scout, the first one who talks, is voiced by Jammer. That's, Glenn busted out a super mutant voice for us.
Fuck you.
Filth words! Filthy, disgusting bleeder! Smash it! Smash away its filth!
Uh-oh. Oh god, this is not gonna go good. Oh god. Oh! Nice! Nice! Mysterious stranger to the rescue! Oh god. Sorry, Jammer. You gotta die. Get him, doggo! Oh god, he picked up the minigun. Where's the last time I saved? I think we may have to be nice to the super mutants. We're not really oh good. Autosave right there. Alright, we'll be nice to you guys because we're weak.
Bleeder! Come closer! I crush you and feed you to dogs!
Short one. Why did you decide to use the name of a character in your mod that is already in the main game? We were actually supposed to disable the base hammer, and I just never got around to do it. That was the intention originally. It was to basically be like a replacer of the character, and I just didn't get around to doing it. And part of that was when I first didn't, it was because I was afraid I would break something vanilla, so we just left it, and then it was like, maybe people won't notice. And now it's just become like a backlog thing that I'll get addressed one day, because basically what I can do is arrange it so that when you enter the cell, if you killed the one up there, or like we'll disable him, and then if you kill him down here, we can trigger whatever would happen if you killed the one that's up there. It's basically just going to require a bunch of complicated scripting stuff. It's the same reason that we haven't resolved the issue with the holotapes for the Eddie Winter quest. It's like anything that's involved with vanilla quests, we have to do a bunch of like workarounds and hacks to make sure that it functions. So there's some of that stuff that's been kind of hanging. Same thing with mod conflicts. It's like there's so many things we got to work on in the core mod itself that a lot of that little stuff is kind of gone by the wayside, and it's one of those wish list things that I aim to complete one day.
Easy now. I don't want any trouble.
Come any closer, and Scout smash you! Go away! That sound, what is it? Go away, bleeder! Quiet, Hammer! I talk for us! This super mutant land human! Sickle lead super mutants here! Why you come? Speak!
Just looking for something.
What looking for?
Your mother.
What do you know about this device?
Oh, now Sickle see! Sneaky human wants Sam Blinkies! No! Special things! Bring us luck! Human can no have!
Maybe we can reach an agreement. I just happen to have a pile of caps here.
Caps! Stupid human! No want useless caps!
What if I made it worth your while?
You want Sam Blinkies! You trade, human! You do work for Sickle, maybe give you some.
What do you need me to do exactly?
Hammer's brother, Nail, ran away! Coward! Nobody runs away from Sickle's tribe! You go find him, send him back to face me! Yes, go find brother of Hammer. Tell him come back. He leave note. Sickle can't read bad scribbles. Take it!
Nail make bear friend by Big Car Brother. I wonder how many of you guys were able to decipher that but without quest markers. All right, let's go find Nail. Now I don't
Sickle hate ghouls.
actually. I want to do a quick save here because I'm curious if we still have this. We had for a while, and I don't know if it's still there. If you tried to sneak past them, they would like all aggro on you. I'm curious if that. Yep, there it goes. They do not like that. Say away, we could do that, but I'm worried that it might break the location or something because I think he's flagged as the boss, so then it would make the location unclearable. So we got to be careful with stuff like that, like disabling. There's consequences to doing that on a bigger scale. Like if some other mod is checking for the location to be cleared, or you get a Radiant quest to clear this location, it would break because of that. So that's what I need to test thoroughly before I do anything like that. So I would prefer to have a little bit the unimmersive mistake of there's two of the characters with the same name, and I think somebody else already said it in chat as we joked about this in dev of like, well, the Supermans are stupid. They could have two of them with the same name. I'd rather have that as like a immersion problem than risk breaking vanilla stuff that I don't have time to test out thoroughly. I guess I should buy some ammo. I'm hungry for it right now.
I can rest easy knowing that Wolfgang is rotten in hell. Thank you. Do you need anything?
Yes.
Hey there.
If you're here to trade, let's trade.
Everybody's favorite part of the
It's all
stream.
worth
We're
every cap I'm
gaff nickel and dimes every vendor to get maximum value. All right, we need any fuel cells? No, nothing. Okay, I guess we're gonna be using this shotgun for a bit. And what's our 10mm situation like? All right, well, you can have a bunch of these. I probably should save those for parts, but I'm so far off from having the oh, here we go. Let's make some serious cash. Let me buy all the 10mm since I'm using it. Oh, I guess I don't need that much. You can have all this and all this and all that. All right, that'll work for now. I'll let you keep your 95 caps for today. We'll come back and get them later. What'd you find, Dogmeat? He's got his ammo's or his stuff's garbage. Get out of here with that. All right, we're heading toward here, so this way. Oh, we found a Nightingale cache. Cool. Ah. I can't... I need to ask other modders who know more stuff with this how to get this to work. I know there's a way when you attach one mesh to another to make it animate with it, and for whatever reason it doesn't work on those caches, and I don't know why. Let's see if we get lucky. I don't think, I mean, all my time playing Fallout 4, I don't think I've ever gotten this to trigger. Eh. Hey, look at that. Ooh, come back here. Where'd that one go? Oh, this thing is fully stocked. Oh, there it is. Come here. All right. What happened to my 10mm? Oh, I probably just sold. Did I sell them all? No. There we go. Nope. Is that it? 34 is my best shot? No. There's a 41. Slightly better. I guess wings are the way to shoot this thing? Ah. Come on. Gotcha.
That should take care of you. Don't mention
What's going on in here?
I wish I had better news.
It's better to know. Thanks for your help, Doc.
Safe travels.
Well, that's embarrassing. You guys are wearing the same clothes.
If you need fixing up, let's get a look at you.
Hear anything, Doctor?
Got nothing. Sorry. I'm just trying to practice medicine.
Glad that's over.
Well, you guys won't mind if I borrow that.
Going to see Doc Anderson? I can't recommend her highly enough.
Thank you. All right, this way. Jake's no different. I got it right away, but I have a conifer mod makes finding bodies hard. Oh yeah. Some of the you guys are talking about nail. Yeah, some of the overgrowth mods make it pretty crazy to see. I actually feel like, and I don't know, did they add it in 76? I feel like this game, like just the nature of Bethesda games, you kind of need like a loot highlighter, just by default. Which is, I know it's not terribly immersive, but it can be a real pain to find corpses sometimes, especially when they get launched. Oh, this is Yagoi territory, isn't it? I'm about to get ambushed here. I guess, and not really ambushed by a bear. I should see them coming. What's our... Oof. Alright, let's try one sneak attack here. Oh god, that did nothing. Dog meat, this is all you, buddy. Get to the tanking. Alright, we'll save our... Save our jet for when it gets real dangerous. Oh god, that's the dangerous time. Hold him down, dog meat. Oh god, almost nothing. Oh Jesus, might be dying again here, guys. This is the brilliant combat you guys came for. Ah, tiny wall defeated you. Alright, level up for that heal. Alright, now where's his buddies? I think there's 2 or 3 of them over here. Alright, how are we doing now? What do we got now? Access to. Okay, I think this is where we kind of want to get... Like, I need to stop with the luck for a second and try and get something good here. Just restore all action points. Yeah, this seems like it would be pretty useful. Wait, do I have more? No, okay. Alright, let's find that corpse. Actually, I know there's another. There's at least one more. Yep, right over here. Hey, buddy. Maybe I can sneak around him. Oh, I see you, monkey. Ready to betray me. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Nope, nope. Nothing to see here. Uh-oh, he found dog meat. That's on you, dog meat. You're in charge. Oh, you see a stem. Oh, a hunting rifle. That's actually pretty good. Oh, I've got no ammo for it because I just sold it all to Trudy. Hey, buddy. Peekaboo. Ha! He's defeated by trees. I just had a flashback. Have you guys all watched the trailer for Cocaine Bear? Because that feels like written by with Fallout humor. Looks so ridiculous. Oh god. Nope, 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 nope. Oh god. There it is. Whew. That was intense. I love when the physics hit while you're in slow-mo. Oh, hey doggo. I'm gonna run out of these, I think, this playthrough. Alright, we found nail. Now, can we find any chalk? I should have planted a bunch of chalk over here. That would have been a nice touch. There's one. I think there's one more up there. Let's not get him. What do we got in here? Ooh, jackpot. Well, let's not sleep on that bed. Thanks. Okay, and now we can fast travel. I'm curious, where's the West Everett Estates fast travel point? Am I going to drop right in the middle of the super mutants? Because that'll be fun. Yep, of course. Oh god. And rads too. Well, let's get out of here. Alright, we gotta fix this rad situation. Alright, let's do some red away and we'll drink a couple Nuka-Colas. I think Nuka-Cola might be better than Stimpak for me right now with my lack of medic perk. Oh, hello. Oh, that was you, dog man. Jesus. Oscar Fry, thank you for the donation. Since you brought up Cocaine Bear, just an FYI, that movie is based on a 100% true story. I mean, based on what I saw, in, like the true story of a bear getting into cocaine, I believe, but anything beyond that, what I saw in that trailer, there's no way any of the rest of that is real. It was so absurd.
Huh? Back with no nail? What? Did he make own tribe? Ha! You think he can kill Stickle?
I found his body. He's dead.
Dead? I'ma not be happy. ASAM's maybe not lucky. Human can take. Hammer. Nail dead. Brother! No! Nail was stupid. Hammer is stupid. Sickle not surprised. What you say? Nail weak. Stupid like Hammer. You killed my brother!
Get him.
Ah! Sickle best super mutant. Smartest super mutant. Strongest super mutant. Human can take Hammer's old job. Human make good super mutant. Tiny, but good.
Okay. Care to elaborate?
Human have tiny body, but human have super mutant heart. Human welcome here. Want more ASAM Blinkies? You come talk with Sickle again, human.
Box of ASAM sensors. So one of the, when we first launched SS2, almost everybody was coming down here, seeing Serbians, immediately just gunning them down without checking to think. So we ended up patching it in to make it so that at least you get one box of ASAMs if you kill this guy.
Human, give Sickle chalk. Human gives chalk. Sickle gives ASAM Blinkies.
What do you need it for?
Quiet. Come close, human. Sickle tell human secret. Food here makes Sickle feel bad. But Sickle eat chalk. Make Sickle feel good again. Don't tell others. Don't want them laughing.
Sorry, never mind. I'll come back later.
Oh, we got the animations playing. I remember we had a lot of trouble getting these working. So these things that have the activate on them, if I don't know if we ever had this working, but if you were to it's supposed to, yeah, it's clearly not working. If you activate them, it's supposed to make Sickle comment on them.
Give Sickle chalk. Human gives chalk. Sickle gives ASAM Blinkies.
Okay, off we go. Let's go see if Jake's ready for us. I think we got a quest objective for that, so it might be time to go mess with our settlement some more. Sonicville, they did add a glow around corpses, gold for legendary corpses. It's been a saver. Also, area pickup from all corpses. Yeah, I've seen people play the video and see that. I saw the area loot thing, and it's pretty wild. Which would have made some of those events way more fun. And there was, I can't remember which. It's been a minute since I played 76. There was this event where I don't even know how to describe it. You're like inside of this little facility, and you're supposed to like run down and grab. Like, I think, are you grabbing rocks or something? You're grabbing some sort of radioactive material and bringing it back. And there's just wave after wave of enemies coming up through all these tunnels. And it's just like a loot fest. There's just like just pinatas of NPCs rolling in. But after it was over, like looting them all was just the worst. Alright, let's head back to Starlight. See where we're at with our guys here. Not crazy about the private frequency. I remember hearing the message while waiting for listening to one of the pastor's sermon side quests to complete. Yeah, if you listen to the messages or that private frequency at night, has a nice little Easter egg in there. We're actually getting pretty close. We might actually end up catching it when we walk back to Concord, or if I walk back to Concord, rather. All right, where are we at in here with all of our? Well, we need water, obviously, but we're still. I guess we could build just like old school water. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. Since we're playing on low resources, like this isn't going to hurt to do this. Let's see, can we build, do we have enough to build a generator too? Small generator. Yeah, we can build this. There we go. How about a turret? Can we handle a turret right now? We can. Not enough defense, but it's a start. All right, what's our job? Okay, we need another house. All right. Oh yeah, we were getting ready to build a second floor up here. Although we do have 9 beds, so why are we short a house? What is going on there? I wonder if this is a apparently, I haven't been able to replicate this reliably to know for certain, but apparently there's a bug with our HUD where the bed and job meters won't fill up quite right if you have extra, which I think is weird. So there must be there's probably some arithmetic bug in our HUD code.
That hurts. My feet hurt.
But we have 9 beds, so I'm happy there. Unless, oh, you know what? It's probably counting the one up there. That's what it is. So I do need, that person's probably not assigned to it. So let's go ahead and build another residential if we can. And I don't really want to spend time building vertically right this second. It's not in the mood. So we'll build this guy on the ground. I'll just cluster it in here with everything else. You can be... Sure, over here. Nice and haphazard, just like I like it. Alright, let's wander over to Concord. We'll see if we can get that signal now. Let's see here. Or am I missing somebody's up there? Shortwind, can you downscale the gunner attackers in the battle with Jake and Aiden introduction? It's pretty hard for a YOLO run. Maybe. So one of the things, and I think somebody else was asking about something tangentially related, is one of my goals before we retire from working on the mod is to go back through Chapter 1. Chapter 1 and HQ both need like a rebalance, like a not necessarily numbers, but like a pacing balance. They need to go through and like look at where things are too slow or too fast, add some more skip options, stuff like that. So that will be the time I would do something like that. But like going back through and playing through all of Chapter 1 with the eyes of difficulty lens, and like where are the places where it's a little slow and probably irritating to play through in subsequent playthroughs. So that'll be something that'll come in the future. But anything involving the voice actors, like it's super complicated because it's not just me changing code or changing records. We have to get a writer involved to write new dialogue. We got to get the voice actor involved. We got to get a sound engineer involved. We've got to risk breaking the quests to edit them. So it's like a big deal to do quest content, which is why that stuff is pretty low on the priority list, even though I would love to make it a priority. I will say that tinkering with Chapter 1 and HQ is... There's a good chance it happens before Chapter 3 because we'll be getting the voice actors involved for Chapter 3 recording anyway. So it'll just be a matter of like once all writing activities are done for Chapter 3, because we're constantly working on more stuff, especially in regards to making sure that the dialogue reflects the mechanics that we're adding, because we are trying not to repeat the HQ mistake of having too many of the mechanics be objective only. So to avoid that problem, we're kind of like the writing phase of Chapter 3 is basically unending right now. And then after that writing is done, then we'll be able to tackle some rewrites for some of the pacing issues in Chapters 1 and 2. And hopefully we don't repeat our mistakes. I'm debating right now if I want to build another settlement. Like I definitely don't want to have to micromanage another settlement, but I'd be happy to set up a city plan. I think I'm going to go set up a city plan in Sanctuary. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll go talk to Preston and company. We'll give them their own little city. That's a perfect idea. Then I don't have to manage it. They can build themselves a little utopia, and we'll be good to go. Shortwind, why does this location not have a fast travel spot? I assume you're talking about West Everett Estates. It's because I think we didn't add one to the to our guys, because at the time I didn't know if it was safe to add new map markers without editing. Like I now know that we can add map markers as much as we want and it doesn't cause any problems. So that's one of those things where we can just add that in at any time. It's not something I thought about. Again. Like this is the first time I've played that quest in ages. Let's see. Abduleo, I'm sure this has been probably asked, but could there perhaps be a dialogue option for Jake to opt out of his tutorial? Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Was like things to smooth out the Chapter 1 stuff are definitely on our to-do list, but they're really complicated. Like you'd think it would be really easy, but because we take it pretty seriously with our quest stuff, like the amount of people that have to get involved is not small. It's not just like I can do it with the help of Jake's voice actor. It's like I got to involve at least 4 other members of the team.
A pretty amazing display. I'm just glad you're on our side.
The feelings.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stop being a jerk to everybody else because the vanilla game will short us on quests if I do that. I'll just be a jerk to Jake.
When we first met, you said you were glad to help. Well, you did, and we owe you our lives. So here, it ain't much, but it's the best way I can say thank you.
I'll take what I can get.
Oh, fusion cell is nice.
Spoken like a true merc. Well, if you ever feel like fighting for something other than yourself, you should meet up with us in Sanctuary. I could use someone like you. Someone who can get things done.
What would I need to do?
You'd need to stay strong like you've been. 'Cause there's more to your destiny. I've seen it. And I know your pain.
Don't give me that destiny crap.
I just saw you go toe-to-toe with a 20-foot-tall irradiated lizard. You telling me you can't keep an open mind after that?
I've never chosen that dialogue option. That was great.
It's all right, Preston. Not everyone understands the sight. But I don't need you to believe. I just need you to listen. You're a woman out of time, out of hope. But all is not lost. I can feel your son's energy. He's alive.
I knew it. Please, tell me where he is. I need to find my son.
I can't see him. Not clearly.
Sonic Phil Radiation Rumble. Yeah, that was it. That's the group quest I was talking about in 76. They also added this week free cam and camp building. Okay, how is that? I should pop in just to try that because like I have an idea of how free cam building should be, and then we have it the way that we do in Workshop Plus, and the way it is in Workshop Plus to me is like not ideal. That is the best I could do given the engine, the way it's set up. What I would really like for free cam building is for it to like you to have a different set of keys to move up and down, and then you're locked in on that plane left and right so that you're kind of like up in an air. That's how I would like it to be. But I'm guessing they did it similar to the way I did it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Please, Mama Murphy. I'm working from nothing. I need more.
Deep dive game. Important note: Nessie from the Powell family counts towards population. Yeah. The creature. It's weird that the creatures count. I don't understand why they're. They might be one of those things where they're. Are they counting? I would ask with Nessie. Is she counting in the vanilla HUD or only in ours? That's what I'm curious about.
We're gonna need the site, and our new friend here, she's gonna need it too. Now let's get going. Sanctuary awaits.
All right, folks. Thanks to our friend here, it's safe to move out. We're heading for that place Mama Murphy knows about. Sanctuary. It's not far.
She knows about it? You mean she had one of her visions while she was stoned out of her gourd? And now you want us to just head out on another wild goose chase based on no better plan than Mama Murphy's?
Do I have to do anything more, or can I just leave from here? I can't remember. Yeah, join in Sanctuary. I think I can just leave.
Hold on. Everybody just take it easy. We're all in.
All right, let's see now if I think this has got to be late enough at night. We can do the listen in on some radio action from Jake. Sin Cyprian, hi from France. Do you intend to expand upon the repopulating the Commonwealth the same way you did to Concord, like in Lexington? I would say it's pretty much not going to. We won't do anything like we did with Concord as far as a bunch of little mini quests and such. But we do intend on putting the world repop doors, like the door system where a door can spawn on a building and people can move into it. We do intend on expanding that everywhere, yes. Let's see, radio. Let's see, what time is it? 1 a.m. I think this is the right time. Maybe it's too late. It's a very limited window. Maybe it's between 9 p.m. and midnight. Anyway, if you happen to see this private frequency and you think about it and it's nighttime, try listening in. You'll hear some nice dialogue from Jake. All right.
Took that thing out.
Let's fast travel and see if they catch up to us. Alright, so we got enough stuff to actually build this thing. I want to build a city planner desk here. I'm guessing we're going to be short on some resources. Oh, we've got it all. Miracle. All right, let's see. I don't think we can do... Actually, you know what? We can grab Codsworth and put him in charge. Come here, buddy. I think in my other save, I literally just never talked to Codsworth, if I'm not mistaken. I may have talked to him eventually, but I just don't remember doing it.
Codsworth. You're looking good for a robot that survived an atomic war.
Well, I have picked up a few minor scratches and, dare I say, stains. But all in all, the inner workings are top-notch. And I see you've taken up a new look. I take it the husband approves. Where is Sir, by the way?
He's... in a better place.
Heavens, no. Such a tragedy. If I could feel, I would be quite distraught over the news. And young Sean? What of your son?
He's been... kidnapped. But I'm gonna find him.
Mum, this news, this...
There we go. Codsworth available to your companion.
News. You must let me assist you in the search for young Sean. I simply cannot remain here knowing the lad is in danger.
Yes, of course.
As you...
There we go. This is something you get if you have SS2 Extended installed. So Xbox players, you will not get this. But we have these were actually made for Rise of the Commonwealth. We have a flag for all of the base game companions, plus who else do we have them for? For Longfellow and Gage. I think those are all the ones we have.
Wish, Mum.
All right,
Not to worry there, pup. Your mistress is in good hands.
All right, we'll send you to Sanctuary, and then we'll swap them. And the only reason I did that is I'm pretty sure that SS2 doesn't detect that Codsworth or that your companions have been your companion unless you actually recruit them to go with you once. So let's
Come
take
on,
you
boy.
now.
It's time to go.
And then we'll send Codsworth to Sanctuary. And now we're going to go try the leader thing and see if it's unlocked. I might have to refresh the cache. Manage city, assign city leader. Yeah, no unique leaders. So let's go. So if you ever get this, so that I think the city leader cache, it updates once when you load your save game, and then I think it does it either every 24 hours or when you arrive at settlement, something like that. But if you ever are expecting a leader option for one of the uniques to be there, you can come into your tools, advanced, and then reset leader card cache. And so this will go through and recalculate all of your leader cards to see if any of them are missing, or the cache systems in Fallout 4 that I have to use are basically like containers of objects, and because those are, I don't want to say unstable, but because the way saves work, they're really sensitive to that kind of thing. It's actually a miracle that our settlement containers with all our stuff survive all the time. But one of the biggest things that's on that kills off the caching, like if you try to access the leader card list or you try to access a plot and get the building plan changed and it's empty, it's because of the way I have to cache things, and that cache can basically get distorted in your save file. So we had to add the rebuild option. All right, let's see if it fixed it. No unique leaders assigned. Interesting. I don't know if I'm not giving it enough time, or here, I'll show you guys another little thing while we're waiting for this. I'm going to bring up. So if you want if you're on PC, you can enable papyrus logging. If you look that up on Google, it's like one of the top results. We have a ton of logging available. So I'm going to go down to that SS2. And I think it's either under City Plan Manager or Settlement. I want to go to, or maybe under the base log. Let's try this. I'll go to ss20.log, and there will be all this information. Yes, I have a lot of windows open. I know. Here, we'll do this because you guys won't leave me alone about my windows. We'll go to one. All right, let's go to leader. Nope, nothing in this one. A lot of usage requirement checks. All right, let's see if it's the city plan one. So we have a bunch of information that gets dumped out about why people can't be leaders. So I'm checking for that right now. I just don't remember which log it's in. It's not Empire. Options manager, maybe? Does anybody remember what... I know I've shown this on the forums so many times. I can't remember what log it is. Normally I would just bring up my code and search it up, but I have too many chapter 3 things open right now that I don't want to spoil. Alright, well, I'll try one more if I don't find it. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure where it is right now. But anyway, there is a... I'll have to look that up for later, but there's a log file to help with debugging that. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to try is we're going to do a quick save. And we're going to load and see if a game load will get it to work. Give that a minute to refresh. Dog meat, let's find you a teddy bear. That'll be a good use for our time while we're waiting for the leader cards to update. Anybody got a bear in one of these cabinets? I also don't remember if I came in here. I probably didn't kill the bugs. I think we just like beelined it out of here. Oh, and I can get the special book, can't I? Or did I get that in the... There we go. Hey, now we can get our luck up. No teddy bears in the fridge. Disappointing. Alright, let's go check it again. That's probably enough time. Ooh, pre-war money. No leaders available. What is going on here? Alright, well, we're going to just manually assign them for now. Where are you, Codsworth? I don't know why the leader card's not coming up, but you know what I got to remember to do is we'll make this a save for debugging. So save Codsworth leader card not working. Codsworth, where are you? I know this is a frequent bug report about that, and I tried to fix it last patch or the patch before of the leader cards, and I had it working in my test saves, but apparently that doesn't mean anything today. Alright, let's go find ourselves some Codsworth. By the way, I am playing with the latest public beta right now, so unlikely I'll find any of the production bugs because I'm playing in the easy mode, so most of that stuff's turned off, but... Michael Kennedy, thank you for the donation. Has my save file helped find the Lupe Memory Lounger bug yet? It has not. The only way I'm going to be able to get that fixed is probably with a SS2 only save, and I don't think yours was, but maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. Codsworth's now in charge. All right, let's see. We'll do the teardown in a second. I want to see if his leader card got detected. No, it didn't. All right, we'll try one more time. Replace city leader. No unique client leaders. Okay. Yep, just not working today. All right, city plan. This time we'll do our ROTC one. Tear it down, and then we'll let the music randomization decide. Oh, cool. We got my new favorite song. Yeah, Skyways, that's what I did. That's why I actually took him on as a companion and then dismissed him to make sure that would be the trigger, but it didn't seem to work. Something funky going on. Yeah, I get a lot of reports that robots are really funky with their assignments, but the way the leader card system works, it actually doesn't care about the assignments. Like it would, you know, if he lost his assignment to the desk, it could unassign him as the leader, but the actual the card, like the little prompt that comes up and tells you their traits and stuff, like that shouldn't care if they're actually assigned to anything or not. So I don't know what's going on there. Might be something like he's not correctly assigned to the settlement. I can check that in a second though, after we let this play out. I love this song so much. Oscar Pry, why are you using ROTC? It is not bugged and unbalanced. I don't know what you mean by that. It is bugged. And I know why it's bugged and I know how to fix it. I just haven't found the time. I actually have it on my shortlist to get done for this patch that we're working on. Because we're working on the mega pack of city plans, I need to write some code that's gonna make it easier for me to solve the ROTC issue. Yeah, Quester, I think that kind of music is like the vibe we're going for with the city plan building. Like something that feels like kind of uplifting and epic. So like that's why it's cinematic mode. So yeah, this music is the perfect kind. This song is Age of Wonder, and it is by Scott Buckley, I believe is the name of the composer. He is one of the best free composers out there I have ever heard. There's a handful of people out there on the internet who just give away their music for free, and they let you use it in anything, even commercial production. They only ask for you to give them credit, which I am more than happy to do. I'm actually subscribed to his Patreon because I want to pay the man something because I love his music so much. And then sucked out because the city plan finished. But yeah, ROTC plans. I know what always comes up with the ROTC plans. One is that they don't level up correctly, and that is the bug that I can fix. The other issue that often comes up with the ROTC plans is, and this has come out since ROTC came out, the biggest issue folks have with it usually is, we can now build city plans in Red Rocket. So that finally triggered. And Sanctuary Hills. Actually, I wonder if maybe we had a bunch of script lag and maybe the leader cards are suddenly going to show up. All right, let's pop into workshop mode now, so it'll make that thing disappear. If you ever get these kind of like invisible items stuck appearing, that's another script lag issue. Like usually that's controlled by some code in Workshop Framework. And so usually it's the same way that these the little floating icons work. So usually popping in and out will hide that thing. Yep, there it goes. And that's a marker we have in a lot of our city plans to mark where the cinematic mode should point at as a reference point. So like you can have a little bit of control. This is actually one of the tools that's available that I actually have installed now. So and that's actually probably why it showed up for me, because I have WRK installed. So WRK Wasteland Reconstruction Kit offers not only a bunch of stuff you can build that's stored in Sim Settlements, meaning that players who use your designs don't need to install anything. They don't need to have Wasteland Reconstruction Kit. So you get like, I don't know how many thousands of items that are buildable all of a sudden, and you don't put any requirements on your city plans. It's one of the cool things about this mod. But it also adds some special items that let you do interesting things like, let me see if I can find what that one's called. Is it effects marker? City plan markers should be under here. So we have these markers that let you do interesting things to control how city plans work. So one is camera markers, so the cinematic center point. So the default cinematic center point in any settlement is the center that Bethesda decided, and they tend to decide like the center point of all the cells that make up with the settlement. And I think for Sanctuary, and you'll tend to notice it because occasionally when you fast travel to a settlement, all your settlers will be pooled up in one spot, and that's usually the spot that Bethesda marked as the center. I think for Sanctuary it's like over here. And I found that in here the cinematic circle looked better if it was up in the sky a little bit from the center, so we were able to put that marker down, and it made the cinematic mode look better. So we have these kind of tools that you can even use in your city plans. There's a lot of other really cool markers in here, so if you really like making settlements and you want some like cool stuff you can do sim settlements wise, like Wasteland Reconstruction Kit is pretty huge. There are a couple of buggy items in there that it's one of those things like if there's one that I know of that I need to actually repair sooner than later. I think there's a big Protectron head that once you place it, you can't scrap it. You have to use the console to get rid of it. Like that one needs to get out of there, but and there are some that probably aren't. This is definitely not a workshop mod like Workshop Rearranged or I'm trying to think of the names of some of the other ones. Some of those ones where it's just like a really like deep pack of items that are all like handcrafted and everything. This is more just like here's access to a whole lot of vanilla meshes with all of their bugs. Like that's more what this pack is, but it's a really nice utility if you want to have new building items and be able to share your city designs without having to ask players to download stuff, because I think that's usually the number one complaint on add-on packs or city plans or even transfer settlements blueprints from folks is you'll often see a bunch of comments that are like, hey, can you make a version of this without mod XYZ? So like that was our solution, is like, well, let's just use as many vanilla models as we can and make them buildable. Okay, so now we got a city plan here, and this thing, because we're on automated, this thing should just kind of build itself up over time. We don't have to worry about it. There is the one thing that's truly broken about, and I still have more to talk about ROTC. I got sidetracked there, as I warned you guys I would when I started talking about stuff. So right now with city plans, the little thing on the left that has a little Vault Boy icon, and this is 7 out of 16 on my screen. Basically what that is that's the amount of population that the settlement is designed, or the city plan is designed to support. Now, unfortunately, in Rise of the Commonwealth, we didn't have all the kinks worked out of the code when we ported it. And so the 16 is how many level 3 is meant to support. And normally that wouldn't be a problem, except that one of the requirements for city plans to level up is they have to hit like 80% of their capacity before they can level up. So what's supposed to happen is that each level would have a different capacity number entered in, and for Rise of the Commonwealth, they all have the level 3 number entered in, or something along those lines. It might be that, or they might be one level ahead. It might be like level 0 has level 1s, level 1 has level 2, etc. So it makes it so that it's the only way to force them to level up is for you to manually build a bunch of stuff, which is not ideal. So that is a bug I know how to fix, and just have to do it. It's just going to be time consuming. So that is the big bug. And the other part that I was trying to get down that I got distracted on with the common thing people complain about with Rise of the Commonwealth, even in the SS1 version of it, is that a lot of our designs have no food or no water. And that was because when we designed them, we designed it as if, okay, what if the player built all of the Rise of the Commonwealth settlements? Because the design goals of that pack changed over time. It was like if they build all of them, we want to have different settlements serving different roles. Instead of each of them having to be self-contained, we focused on like, okay, well, this settlement is by a large water reservoir, so let's give them a ton of water. Or this settlement is naturally a farm, let's give them a ton of food. And then knowing that players would set up provisioners between them, that their needs would be covered across the map. But that doesn't work out well when players are mixing and matching city plans, or when players are building some of their own and using those, and then instead you end up with like just this weird mix of settlements that some of them work well and some of them don't. So but I like the visual style of the Rise of the Commonwealth, and if you have the options set down low enough, or even on the default, if you're playing in city builder mode or in automated, the city plans you build are all self-contained. So the only downside to the way we have those set up then is the fact that if when the caravan services get built, those settlements are going to absorb a lot of your surplus from your other settlements. So your manually built settlements are going to have to do a little extra work to keep everybody happy. So that's the downside there. But I will fix the required settler count issue in ROTC probably for the next patch. So the next patch is not going to be this Friday like it normally would. I just posted a public beta yesterday mentioning this, that there's too much deep code change in the current build that I can't risk doing it on an accelerated release, so we need an extra week for it to cook. And would love some of you guys to play around with it and give us some feedback on it. Like that, I'm playing with it right now to try and check for any issues and sort some stuff out and make sure that... oh, did we get... Father Edmund. Did this show up too soon? Interesting. I may have just had that trigger at the end of Scavenger's Delight, knowing that it's not a big deal if the player sees it in advance, because the church repairs don't actually happen until after you start doing some of those quests. All right, I think okay, I think we're at a good place to stop here. So I'm pretty sure that Jake will show up pretty soon here. I don't remember how many days this timer is on. Let's see, we haven't... Oh, we pissed off Abernathy Farms, so they're probably not joining us. But that's okay. We saved ourselves from the Triangle of Death by yelling at Blake. All right, so I think we're going to shift gears over to chat mode. So I'm going to park myself over in Starlight here, make a final save for the night, and I'm going to talk to you guys now for... Well, I get an hour and change left. We'll just hang out. I can answer questions for you guys. I'll pretty much talk about anything except for the story content of Chapter 3. So if you guys want to know about mechanics, I'm happy to talk about them. Oh, I fixed this. You guys see this? I for real fixed the harvesting. So like I had done it in an earlier patch a while back that I marked it as fixed, and I found out it was fixed, but only in like really specific niche scenarios. It was like if the plot happens to have been refreshed in the last 12 game hours or something, it would work. It was like there was a bug in it so that it would appear fixed while testing specifically for it, but then for most players, like in a real gameplay scenario like I'm playing here, it would not actually work. And so I have figured that out, and now we should every time we come back to our settlements. Sure.
I just need to trade gear with you.
Go ahead.
It sounded like you were going to give me a quest. You were going to give me a...
I'd like to trade some items.
Sure thing.
I thought you were going to give me a Preston quest there, buddy. No such luck. So, yeah, you guys should find in the next patch, or if you go grab the beta, that you should be able to harvest your crops again. It was never the intent to take that away. I know that was one of the things we get frequent reports on the forums from new users of like, oh, it's such a bummer that you guys got rid of that, and that was actually just a bug that's been in the mod for ages. All right, let's get all our setup. I still haven't written this bat file to do this, but let's see. So we need to go save LP. All right, we called it easy mode. LP day 2, end of session. And then we need to go set game hour to 11, force weather, and set time scale to 0.1, and TFC. Yeah, so I really need to bat command that. Okay. Oh, I missed a donation. Quester WI, thank you for the donation. I know you mentioned it before, but any ETA on the Raider respawn in Concord? No, I think it's one of those things that I've just been nervous to do. I have it on, so I keep a short list. Here, I'll bring it up. I keep a short list, and I gotta scan, I gotta scroll it before I stick it on screen, because there's a lot of stuff on there for, let me make sure there's nothing on here about Chapter 3. Okay, so usually when I'm going, so like at least once a week I end up dinking around on the forums. I don't necessarily respond to threads, but I'll kind of keep an eye on like what's the hot topics of the day, what are threads that are getting a lot of traffic, or somebody will point me to them. And I also watch for new reports coming in, and I'd make a little short list of things I want to address in the next couple of patches. And so here's my current little list here, and it's, you know, the date is to do 7/27/22. I keep using the same document over and over again, but one of the things on my list here is the prevent location reset, and I keep skipping it every time I go down my list, and it's just been on there for like a month and a half because I'm afraid of messing with that. I'm always afraid to mess with F4SE because I don't want to I'm afraid of a couple reasons. One, I don't want to introduce a situation where the mod breaks for non-F4SE users, which would include all of our Xbox players. And I'm also afraid I'm going to get addicted to F4SE programming because you can do some really cool stuff with it that I lack the ability to do without it. Oh, speaking of that, Sidante sent me something really awesome. today, and I haven't had a chance to look at it in depth. But he thought of a better way to handle power grid corruptions. And so, you guys know how we have the tool and workshop framework to automatically repair the grid. He found a way to do that where it doesn't ever break the grid, which is brilliant. So there will be, hopefully I'll get it in for the next patch, but I should have like a guaranteed fix for the problems with the grid. So it'll be like the replaced wires will never crash the game anymore. The automated power grid fixing will never leave the grid in a bad state. Like, he perfected the power grid tools. So that is coming to Workshop Framework in this next patch or the one after. Probably the next patch. Like, it looked like the changes he made were pretty straightforward. And it's an important enough a feature that, like, I'm going to make it a priority. So we'll see. We'll see how my schedule plays out. But that is something I'm really excited about because I hate the power grid bug is just such a thorn on my side. Now, for Xbox players, don't get too excited. You still don't have access to that code. The power grid stuff is a F4SC feature. And that's why I thought of it, because we're talking about F4SC. But anyway, so that's exciting. Cool stuff coming. Not crazy. We'll explain more next message, but if a city plan bugs out and creates multiple recruitment beacons stacked on top of each other, causes hyper settler recruitment, i.e. 3 to 5 per game day. That's weird. Like, the only thing I could think of that would cause, so there's a thing with in the base game with when you build a recruitment beacon, it randomly will spawn between 1 and 3 settlers, but that will have no impact on a day-to-day basis. Like, I think the thing you're describing, 3 to 5 per game day, I don't know of any mechanism how that would be possible. Like, the number of recruitment beacons is never counted. Like, if I could build a million right here and it would still not mess with the recruitment. Like, the test for recruitment beacons and the way the code runs to spawn settlers, it never ever checks the number of beacons, and a beacon being built never has any impact upon except at the very first time a beacon is built at a settlement, is that it will trigger a spawn. So, like, having multiple of them, like, if you I don't know if you're code or not, but if you looked at the code, it never cares if there's multiple. So, like, it's not like it's not like a loop could run, or like if you built 2 really fast, that 2 loops would start. That's not possible. That's not the way the Papyrus works. So, like, I don't know of any mechanism where that could happen. The only thing I could think, my gut says some sort of workshop script override, some sort of incompatibility. Maybe a load order issue, like having unofficial Fallout patch after Workshop Framework. Maybe it could cause some weird behavior like that, like where you've got conflicting versions of the scripts fighting each other. Quest WI, I just wish my cinematic lasted as long as yours does, but my PC is a potato. Oh, that's interesting. I would think it would last longer, because it should go until, I think we have a limit on it. I used to have a setting in SS1 where it was like play until construction is done, or play until a song is done with X loops, and I don't think I ever ported those settings over to SS2. I doubted very many people were ever using them. Blair Chris, can you turn that 80% capacity requirement off? I don't know if we have that in. Let's check. I mean, I can. Yes, I can turn off anything. That was in there for immersion. It was like, the assumption was it would happen for most folks, but unless it was one of those settings that was there for people who want the immersive experience, and for everybody else, it would generally not be an issue. It was just because of this mistake in the ROTC code that it happened, like not in the city plan code at the time when we built Rise of the Commonwealth. So if you haven't messed with city plans in building them yourself, we designed a web tool that can generate plugin files, and the code of that plugin generator had some bugs in it when we generated our ROTC. We've long since fixed them, but our ROTC was built on that code, and so that is why it's suffering from that issue. City building. This has to do with locks. Yeah, it looks like there's no setting in there currently to bypass that. So that's kind of just like a secondary time mechanic. Like I said, for most of you, if it weren't for this mistake in our ROTC, it would never, that 80% population would only ever impact people playing with all of the settings turned on. So like hardcore players where, you know, they want the immersion, and then what ends up being the throttle there is happiness. So like if you're not maintaining happiness and keeping up on all of your different stuff, then you'd slow down recruitment, and then that would be like a secondary slowdown point in city plan level up. Oscar Fry, will you stream when you fix the ROTC bug? Like, will I stream while I'm fixing it? Probably not. Will I stream after I've fixed it? I mean, yeah, I'll stream pretty much every Wednesday. When's Christmas and New Year's this year? I think those are on the weekend, right? I think it's Christmas is on a Sunday, and then so New Year's would be as well. Yeah, so I can't, like, I'm fairly certain I'm going to be, barring another illness, I'm pretty sure I'll be streaming every day or every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks at least. So I will stream with a working version of ROTC, if that's what you mean. Deep Dive Gaming, can you please talk about the levels of participation for the different factions for War is Good for Business Quest? Specifically, how do we get Railroad to be friend level? I unfortunately don't know all of that. I can say who can be involved. As far as how far you've got to take each of them, I actually don't know. That would have to I'd have to go dig into the code, or I'd have to ask Sagittarius, who's the one who implemented that quest. But the factions that you can get for War is Good for Business are going to be the obvious ones. So you can get Minutemen, Brotherhood, Institute, Railroad, CPD. Nightingales, I think you can get one person to show up, but if you go talk to Fiona, she'll tell you, no, we're not going to help you, we're pacifists. And then I think a Nightingale will show up anyway. And I think the design was for them to be there only as like a medic, but I don't think we have the code for that. So I think they probably do fight just because of the way the game works. But I do intend on figuring out how to do a medic at some point, because I think that would be just really fun to have a battlefield medic that doesn't fight, but just runs around and heals. And what's the other faction you can get? I feel like there's one other one that I'm missing, but it's definitely the four major factions, CPD, and Nightingales for sure. I can't remember if there's another one or not. I know we talked about designing that quest. Like, this is one of those things where we might go back and re-engineer it a little bit to allow mods to inject their own helpers, because I think it'd be really fun to have certain mods that have groups. You know, we could go up and talk to them and have them send a little squad to help. It'd be really fun. I know it's designed in a way where it's actually possible to get representatives from all those groups simultaneously, so you don't have to take any of the factions far enough in the quest line where you have to blow up the others. But if you do, so like let's say you take the Institute and you blow up the Railroad and Brotherhood, then when you show up to the battle, if you do that first and then go to the battle, you'll have more Institute support to make up for the fact that you couldn't get the other two. There's you know, from the sound of it, it sounds like you're having trouble getting the Railroad to work. So it might be that the Railroad triggers we have just aren't working anymore. Could be that I broke it when I was doing bug fixing on that quest. So that was one of the challenging things about Chapter 2 development, is I tackled a large portion of the bugs myself, even though I didn't design the quests. And so I may have unintentionally broken something that I didn't understand what was happening. So it could be that I broke that. Oscar Fry, it's okay if Abernathy doesn't want to join you. You can just use Abernathy Farm as Minutemen artillery range for target practice. Oh, God. I'm not trying to go Raider here. I'm just trying to get Jake to give us some new dialogue. Nick Carter, is it pretty safe to say Chapter 3 won't release this year? Yeah, 100% it's not releasing this year. Like when you guys get the trailer, like the full trailer, that was just our teaser. When you get the full trailer, it will have a release window on it. We're not going to be doing there definitely will be a trailer with a release window before, even if we were going to do a surprise launch, we're still going to follow our pattern of teaser, trailer with a release window, and then release somewhere in there. Like, that's still going to happen. We haven't even released our full trailer. It's such a massive chapter. Like, part of it is like the mechanical depth that we're adding is pretty wild. And then like, I think nobody wants to cut story content because we all know this is our last chance. because like we know that the Starfield is going to dig into the audience, like I said, unless it's another Fallout 76, it's going to chew into the audience substantially from Fallout 4. And we want, we're ready for a new challenge, so we want to make sure we go out with a bang here. So like there's in this just massive list of like features we've been really wanting to put in SS2, and a lot of stuff we want our characters to say, like, finish off their stories and make sure that we leave them on a high note. So we don't want to like stumble at the finale here. And then also because of how rocky the launches were for chapters 1 and 2, it's just like a lot of bugs that should not have gone live with. So like we're trying to take more time, particularly with the mechanics. Like I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be quest bugs that make it through, just because testing every iteration of them and like finding all the things where like other mods can like. So one of the things we figured out, especially during chapter 2 bug fixing, was even though we keep all of our stuff set up in a way where we should have minimal conflicts with other mods, there's always the chance, because we're using the same world space, that we'll run into conflicts anyway. And one of those is often if we like reference anything in the vanilla game, a lot of mods just delete that stuff, or they'll like move it, or they'll do something weird to it. And so totally innocuous mods will do this, and then it breaks our quests. So like a lot of times we'll have quests that just will fail to start. And people will be like, oh, I did this quest and the next one never shows up. And like we have a way to work around that now. But finding all those takes ages. So like I know we can't deal with that, but what I would like to avoid is what we had in chapter 1 when we shipped. There were some bugs right away in the plot code, and like that, I don't want that to happen with our new mechanics. In chapter 2, HQ was just a buggy mess when we launched it, and so we're just spending an enormous amount of time building out, testing the new mechanics. Because those are what are going to keep everybody occupied for the long haul. Like the story, like I'm torn on this. Like I think this is one of the things with game dev that's a problem in general, is like everybody wants to have this perfect thing, but like getting a game perfect is really, really difficult. Like takes way, way longer than you could ever imagine. And so like finding that balance of like, okay, we want to release at a reasonable cadence, but we also don't want to have a buggy experience. It's a tough line to walk, but I think that we're trying to get our mechanics much smoother, and then like quest wise, I think we did pretty good. I think quest wise for chapter 2, there were some ways to break quests, but there were ways to work around them. Like I think our main quest at least was pretty solid. I know Runners and Gunners had there were ways to break it. There were quite a few ways to break it, but everybody I also seemed to figure out how to get through it, especially with forum support. So, I would like to do better on that too, like especially the opening quest of making sure that it's pretty rock solid. So I don't know how much time we're going to spend on it. At some time we'll like pull the trigger and be like, all right, guys, we could, because obviously think about where we're at with chapters 1 and chapter 2 right now. SS2 came out like 2 years ago. And there's still bugs in it we're fixing. So like we can't get it. If we wait to get it till perfect, you guys aren't going to see chapter 3 for 3 years, if not longer. So like there's obviously we have to like accept that there's going to be some amount, but we're trying to make it less. So that is part of why we're on this much longer development cycle, and why we have no inkling of a date yet, because we're not under any pressure yet to do so. Like I think an announcement of another date from Bethesda you'll see some movement all of a sudden. You'll probably see us like like a month after that, we'll be having our trailer out with a date on it, because we'll need something to like kick us into high gear, and like no more slacking, no more excuses. Start doing the modder version of crunch, which is basically like, all right, we're gonna maybe not hang out with friends tonight and just mod all night instead, like that kind of crunch. So Chapter 3 will not release this year. Don't have a date for you because we're trying to be a little more methodic about this. I think one of the reasons that HQ came out the gate the way it did is because I did like minimal viable product. It was like, all right, I'm going to make it work for the quest objectives. And, as long as I could get that to work a couple of times, like that was as far as I could take it. And like, didn't get a lot of time to spend on, getting a lot of rounds from testers on feedback on it, and didn't spend a lot of time balancing it, or didn't spend a lot of time checking to make sure that it was like user friendly, and it still is not user friendly enough. There's still a long ways to go there, but at least now it's like it's playable. Like the HQ is playable now, whereas at launch it was not. And so I want to launch with the new mechanics to be in a playable state, and hopefully it's smoother too. I hope that I've learned my lesson about the pacing and making sure that everybody has the tools they need and that we don't overcomplicate the mechanics. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm focusing on with this extra time. Computer Seg T9. In the gameplay settings, what is the difference between building plan construction costs under balance and construction costs building plan under costs? I feel like you just typed the same thing, or maybe I'm reading it wrong. Let's go in and check, because I feel like I just read the same thing twice. I think I know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna go pop in just to make sure. So let's go into gameplay, go down to costs. So what I think you're talking about is plot and building plan. I think, let's see, you put building plan, construction costs, building plan under costs. Okay, I'm going to assume that you're talking about these two. So building plan and plot. So plot means the buildings that build on the plots have a base cost baked into their class, and that's what that cost is covering. So any construction whatsoever. Individual building plans. So like say you have somebody's add-on pack, they can establish additional or replacement costs in their building plan. And so if you found this was added, so if you found that some of your add-on packs were putting in costs that you disagreed with and you wanted everything to be standard that you could memorize, and use just our class costs, you basically turn off this building plan costs, and it gets rid of any add-on altered costs. So like each of our classes shares a cost. So for example, if you build caravan services from SS2 or from Wasteland Ventures, they're the same. Like the cost is the same on them. But Wasteland Ventures could have altered the cost and made it something different, and maybe you don't like the fact that they did that, and so you could turn off their edits. That's what that's for. Hopefully that was your question. Speaking of Wasteland Ventures, they just had a big new update. I never expected that. I thought they were retired from modding, but instead I think they just released like a dozen new building plans. Not crazy. Was using an 11 Charisma with City Plan and Vault 88. Would hit 25 settlers every few game days. City is rated for 15. Only happens there. Wow, that is a lot of people. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how that would happen. Kenneth Creason, are there still problems with the CPD quest line? I've cleared their new HQ, but they won't move there. I'm sure there are. CPD, so a story around CPD and why it's been one of our buggier quest lines. When we started doing Chapter 2 development, we got a lot more people involved in quest setup. So in Chapter 1, I did all of it, with a couple of people helped me with some of the side characters. White Collar Players helped me with some. Nika Cola helped me with some. Seddon 4494 helped me with some. But at the end of the day, like when they turned it in, I went through all of their stuff and like polished it up, and so I touched literally every quest in Chapter 1. With Chapter 2, I knew that wasn't sustainable with the breadth of content we were trying to do. We were trying to do the main quest plus 3 big quest lines on top of it, plus some more settlers. It was too much. And so we changed the way we developed, and we got all of our writers involved in it. Like not only did they write, but then they would set up their dialogue in the game. And we thought there would be a couple of benefits to this. Is one, they would know how they're just translating dialogue trees from this software we use called Twine. I think it's, let me find it because some of you writers might enjoy this software. It lets you visualize a, here we go. I'll put a link in the chat. Twinery.org. It lets you visualize a branching conversation. And so we had them write in there, and sometimes it can be difficult for us to translate what's in Twine into the CK correctly. So having the authors do it themselves, they would make sure that their dialogue tree worked how they expected it. But they would also learn about how difficult it is to set up complex webs, so that they would basically temper the amount of those they do, because while they can be interesting, they're a ton of work and they introduce a lot of potential bugs. While the person who set up the CPD had come off of modding Fallout 3 and New Vegas, which had drastically different dialogue systems, and so he used a lot of the common practices from there for CPD, and unfortunately it created something. It's very hard for us who are trained in Fallout 4 to follow the logic behind it. And so then a couple of others who were involved in setting up the quest after the dialogue had a lot of trouble following the logic, and we still do to this day. And so it's been a slow process of like migrating from Fallout 3 style to Fallout 4 style. So we're slowly getting there, and like I'm a lot, like the quests definitely run a lot better now than they did at launch. I've gone through several bug fix passes myself. SAG has done a couple of bug fix passes. So, but as far as like that particular issue of them not moving in, I mean, it could just be that the timer is way longer than you're expecting. But I'll say this about any of my mods. This includes SS1, Conqueror, Workshop Plus. If any of you guys has a bug that's irritating the hell out of you, and you really want to get me to fix it, if you can spin up a new character, it doesn't even have to be a brand new character, just use a clean save, like a vault clean save, where you only have the minimal mods required to run that mod. So for example, if you have a bug in Sim Settlements 1, just load with Sim Settlements 1. It has no requirements. If it's just a bug with if it's a bug you think with Sim Settlements 2's main quest line or a mechanic, just load with SS2 and Workshop Framework, because those are that Workshop Framework is its only requirement. Load with the bare minimum, play up to that point, get the bug to happen, send me that save file, and I will probably fix it for the next patch. Because those saves are so easy to work with. That's why like you guys will catch me in these Let's Plays of making save files when I hit an issue, because it's so fast for me to dissect what's going on. If someone gives me a detailed report of what's happening and a save file where it happened, where there's no other mod that could have been the cause. It makes it so much easier. So like I'm even willing to patch SS1 and Conqueror and any of the old content if somebody does that for me, because it makes it so much faster and it's less risk. But as soon as there's even one other mod involved, it's like, well, maybe if that mod is doing that, and like I mentioned earlier, like random mods can accidentally make mistakes. So like, one of the things with the creation kit is when you're experimenting and you're just looking around the game world or opening up records, the game will tag those as edited, and like when you go to package them, if you're not knowledgeable, it will package in all sorts of scripts on things you just looked at. So while you're trying to learn, you're actually making edits to the game by mistake, and like it takes a while to learn not to do that, and then to learn to clean up those accidental dirty edits, we call them, edits that happen unintentionally. And so like a lot of random little tiny mods can cause problems. So the way, since I have unlimited things to do and unlimited bug reports coming in, like the easiest way for me to like create a filter, because otherwise I can't, you can't operate effectively in the world, in life without filters, right? You can't just like, not everybody can have unlimited access to your time, or you would not be able to do anything but communicate with other people. Like I need to be able to actually stop and develop. So I have to have some filters, and like one of my filters is right now, because we have so many things to work on, is unless I have a clean save with the issue, like no other mods involved, I can't really work on a bug. There are exceptions, like there are a handful of people that I know are really, really knowledgeable about this stuff, and they can isolate a bug with other mods involved, and give me reproduction steps, and I can work from those. But otherwise, like especially for any of you where we have no relationship, like I have to filter. Otherwise, again, all of my time would be reading bug reports, and that's how I did SS1. With SS1, I literally read every single comment on everything. Like I did this like for 6 months after it came out. Every comment on Nexus, every comment on YouTube, every email message, every Nexus message, I would look into every single thing that was being sent to me. And it was like it was like a second full-time job. It was like 30 to 40 hours a week of messages and investigating reports people would have, and I don't have the time anymore, unfortunately. So the long answer to your question. But if you have a problem with CPD, I would love to fix all of those. It's just reproducing them is very difficult, because it's like I have to then basically spin up a save, and I can force start the CPD questline from console, but then like recreating the steps you took is very difficult. So like having a save where no other mods were involved will make that a lot faster. Matthew Clem, can you estimate the size of Chapter 3? If you're talking about in megabytes, I mean, our goal is to make sure that for Xbox, Chapters 1, 2, and 3 will take up no more a total than 1.9 gigabytes. That would leave 100 megabytes for random utility mods for Xbox players. That's our goal in the base, and then everything else will get moved to extended. If you're talking about size as in number of hours, I have no idea. Yeah, I will say it's going to add an insane amount of replayability. There are a bunch of options in our quest line that can add replayability, and the mechanics are like one mechanic alone adds infinite replayability, and then when you combine them all together, it's crazy. The one mechanic that I think is missed the most from Conqueror is not the Raider playthrough. It's actually what the pre-build system. So we had a system in SS1, if you installed Conqueror, where when you were in the mirror at the beginning of the game, you'd get a pop-up and say, hey, do you want to pre-populate the world? And if you went through these menus, you could arrange so that city plans would build before you ever woke up from cryostasis. And so you'd wake up into the world, and there would just, some of these settlements would have city plans built at various levels, fully populated by NPCs. And so it was just like a world randomizer, and it was really, really, really fun to play with. And that's going to make a return in Chapter 3. And it actually won't even be part of Chapter 3. We always put our mechanics in the core mod now, so that way people who, especially for Xbox players, who don't have space for the chapters can still play all the mechanics. So like HQ is an exception because it actually involves a physical space and a lot of meshes, but all of the, like the disease system, for example, like that was introduced with Chapter 2. It's actually in the base mod. So like, yeah, and I know that's not a great example because not everybody loves the disease system, but like that's the same thing we're applying. These new mechanics we're adding in Chapter 3, they will all be in the base mod. So Xbox players who are really struggling for space, they played through the story and they're like, I want to have SS2, but I don't want to commit 2 gigs to it. You know, the base mod is, I think we've got the base spot. I think the base spot is 1 gig. They'll be able to do that. And then in a future update, after we've wrapped pretty much everything else, like in the last few months before I retire from Fallout 4 modding, I plan on releasing a framework edition of SS2 for Xbox players that will be no story content, you know, just a handful of building plans for all the class, like 1 building plan for each class, with the exception of probably residential. They'll probably keep a handful of houses. Very bare bones, and try and get the mod to like 300 or 400 megabytes as a core. Like here's no story, just the framework, and that way they can use SS2's features, like its code, alongside a different load order. That's what I'm hoping to do for Xbox players. So I don't know what you were looking at for size, but hopefully I covered all the bases there. Starkiller Kate, who was the inspiration for Lupe as a character? Sir Rick would have to answer that. He is our lead writer. I will say he was going for what we often talk about when we introduce new characters. We talk about the relationship they have with the other characters. So we treat them kind of like a family. Like Aiden is kind of like Jake's older brother, and kind of gives him a hard time. Is kind of a realist and a foil to Jake's like hyper optimistic, happy-go-lucky attitude. And then Lupe was like Jake's kid sister. Was kind of the relationship. Was the character we were trying to create. I couldn't say who Sir Rick used as inspiration. I know that he loves to use inspiration from real life, like people he knows and such. I'm sure he uses them. They're going to naturally fall into his writing. When he's a very, very friendly guy. So I know like whenever he's trying to think of dialogue for Jake, he often just thinks like, well, what would I say? And then how do I make it now? How do I put it into a Texan accent? Like that's often what he'll do for Jake's writing. So because he's seriously like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I assume that Lupe is probably either he's basing it off of somebody he knows. I don't think he has a sister. He might. Odd, I don't know that. I've been working with him for years. If he's in chat, he'll probably dispel me of that notion or answer for you guys. Let's see here. Oscar Fry. So what do you and your team have bladed for Star Sim Settlements 3? I mean, like we're definitely like we're not gearing up for anything in that regard right now. Like I will say we are all well, most of us are excited about the game. We're big sci-fi fans for the most part. Like, you know, we use Mass Effect as a frequent reference when we're discussing plans for the mod. So like having Bethesda do their own take on a space RPG, like 100% in on that. But you know, I've played the game has to hit me just right to make me want to mod it. I'm not going to force it. Like, I've been modding games forever, and you know, Fallout 4 just hit me at the right time. Like, it was like I had the free time. I had taken a break before that from modding for a couple years, and it was just right time, right place. So I don't know if Starfield will be that. Maybe it'll be like I have so much left to do in some settlements, because just when we release Chapter 3, that's not the end of my involvement with SS2. That's just the end of our like giant story arcs. There's still, I'm gonna have bug fixes for 2 years after that to get all of the, you know, the majority of the issues worked out. There's going to be a lot of features that were almost there that got cut at the end that we're going to want to restore. There's polishing up older content, and then there's the dream of being able to go back and, you know, finish up the last handful of quests for the Conqueror storyline and port that forward. So I have a lot ahead of me with some settlements too, and it might be that I just don't have the bandwidth to do Starfield stuff as well. So no immediate plans, like, but I do know that I want to have a big project in my life all the time. It's very fulfilling to have something like this to work on, and I think a lot of the other folks on the team feel the same way. 2500 PRC. Can you add a uniform office to the municipal plots to set local uniforms? So we are going to be doing something with clothing. It won't be anything quite like that, but we're still working out the details, so I don't want to get into it in depth. But we do have some plans for some means of handling mass equipping of settlers, because I know that's one of those things that for some reason, like, there's not been a stable mod to do that this whole time in Fallout 4. There's been several attempts over the years, but as far as I know, maybe somebody can correct me, there's not like a big popular well-supported mod for mass equipping settlers yet. And I think part of that is just a lot of mechanical limitations on it. But I know there's been several attempts at armory mods, and I don't think any of them is doing well right now, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I missed the boat on something. Computer Sag 9. No, the other thing is under balance. Oh, okay. So I was wrong on that cost thing. All right, let's go under balance and see what you're talking about. Sorry, I talk so long. So there's like 20 minutes between reading your messages. Let's go here. Gameplay. It's under balance. It's the same thing. So building plant. So it actually to me made more sense to be under here. This was basically for all of these under balance. That's what this was referring to. It was like basically, okay, if the building plans are breaking your balance, turn them off. Turn off their ability to break your balance. So it's the same setting. I actually intended on doing this more of duplicating settings in multiple places, just to make it, because like we have so many settings now. I mean, I don't even want to count them right now. Just dozens and dozens of settings. Like sometimes it can be really challenging, you can think about like, okay, I don't like this element of the mod. How do I change it? Well, you have to figure out what the name of that thing is, right? So, because there's no search system in here. That's one of the best things like computer software has switched over to of settings systems are usually searchable, text searchable now. Because how the hell are lay people supposed to memorize all the names of these things? So actually, I would highly recommend you guys, if you're ever looking for something you don't like about SS2 and you want to change it, there's probably a setting for it for a lot of things. There are a lot more than you might expect, and the wiki has been crazy full of information. There's so much great information on here about different things you can do. So I highly recommend you check out the Sim Settlements 2 wiki. There's even like a big giant settings flowchart for the holotape that I'm sure is perpetually out of date because I keep adding more stuff to the holotape. But there's a lot in there. Like this wiki is insane. I recently discovered, I didn't realize how far they had gotten on it, and I say they, but it's mostly Sasori. Sasori is a rock star. If you guys ever see Sasori in chat, you should send her lots of hearts, because Sasori has been like single-handedly keeping the wiki in tip-top shape over the past, I don't know how many months, of constantly like asking me questions and updating information on there. It's just so much information. But the one thing I noticed that got fully fleshed out at some point, and I didn't realize it had happened, is all of the quests, or most of them, have like full breakdowns on our wiki of like what happens step by step, what you do as the player, what stages there are, and what the notes on the stages that we have, and like what happens. Like there's so much information on the wiki. It's pretty amazing. Especially given that, you know, it's been helped on by a handful of people, but I know Sasori has done the lion's share herself, which is just wild to me. We unfortunately have never been able to do a full open wiki, which is usually how, you know, these games get their wikis filled out in a reasonable amount of time, because every time we've opened it up, we get attacked by spam bots. So we have kind of a gated wiki. You've got to get permission from us to edit it. And so we've tried to bring on more people, but a lot of times folks come on, they work on it for a couple hours, and then they run out of steam. So if you are out there and you like editing wikis and you want to see SS2 better documented, and you want some direct access to my brain, we could use some more help on the wiki side, I'm sure. Maybe Sasori is in chat and is telling me, no, I got it all covered. But maybe, I'm sure by the time Chapter 3 comes out, that sentiment will change, because we're going to have so much new stuff to document. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just catching up where I was in chat. Okay, here we go. Sehuai, does Fallout London factor into your guys' release window at all to avoid overlapping release dates? No, unfortunately, we don't. I mean, we can't dodge everything, so I don't know what their release window is. I'm sure they're probably on the same goal as we are. It's like, hey, it'd be really nice to get this out before Starfield. So I wouldn't be surprised if they follow the same strategy of, like, as soon as Starfield's next date gets announced, then they're like, all right, our date's now going to be 1 month or 2 months before that. Let's make it happen. I wouldn't be shocked if we end up competing, just because that's just how it's going to play out. Fortunately, SS2 mechanics will work in Fallout London, barring them deleting Workshop Parent from the mod, which they've told me they aren't doing, and assuming that they're setting up some number of settlements, which if they're not, I assume somebody will patch those in pretty quickly. Valaki, not SS2, but did Bethesda ask your help with their settlement building in Starfield? No, they don't need my help. Codes, ideas, etc. Do you think they will just simply copy your idea without asking? I hope they do. I hope they copy my idea, because then I won't have to do it. Because I want to play this game. I want to play a game with building where people move in, they care about what you're doing, and there are interactive mechanics so that it's fun to come back to your locations you built. Like I like base building in games is awesome. But if you want me to do it across multiple places and have NPCs living in there, then I need those to evolve over time, you know. I would hope that they see the value in adding some simulation, and maybe it won't come in Starfield. Maybe it's like that's going to be their next game. Maybe that'll be a feature of TES 6. But I think this is the direction gaming is going to be going, of like we're hitting like peak graphical levels. You know, shooting mechanics have pretty much been solved and mastered. You know, you can think of amazing games with, like, you know, all the different little subsystems are getting mastered. And so now with all this new computing power and stuff, you know, fine, we can use some of it on ray tracing, but like, let's, you know, the other aspect of it that we can start pumping all this computing power into a simulation. So I think we're going to see more and more of that in RPGs, whether or not Bethesda gets to it right away. They will eventually, and I hope they do, because this is real. I enjoy the project, but I'll be honest with you guys, the thing I have the most fun working on now is the story stuff. Like, you know, collaborating with all these folks and creating this big story mod is become one of the most fun parts. Doing all these mechanics and stuff, it's like, I think other coders are better than me. I am not the best coder at all. I'm just the one willing to put in the work. So like, I would love to have, if, you know, Bethesda could code all this stuff out at engine level, it would run a lot better too. Thukad, what's your current holy grail in terms of goals outside of your reach? Oof, that's a big question. Holy grail in terms outside of my reach. So like, you know, like if I was just like, I got to wave a magic wand and do whatever I want, like that kind of outside of my reach, or because like that's a question that I could read a lot of different ways. I'll take it that way for now, of like if I could just choose, you know, like the win the lottery, I'll treat it like a win the lottery question. I would say I would like to take our core dev team and give them all a salary and you have them all quit their jobs and see what we could do. That would be the holy grail for me. We are nowhere near that. Patreon doesn't bring in enough to pay a single person salary, much less a whole team. Because like we've got a lot of talented people on our team that, you know, their biggest limiter is their time. And like that would be the holy grail for me right now. Cause like, and I, you know, however that would manifest, whether it would be working on mods in a game or making our own game or whatever it is, just like, I want to see what this creative team can do when they're unchained by needs. Like when they don't have to worry about a salary. Like that would be insane. I would love to see what could happen under those circumstances. So that would be my holy grail right now. Not crazy. This is the monthly request from chat. Can you confirm that Codsworth is the secret gunner benefactor plotting revenge on you for leaving him behind? That just reminded me of Choo Choo. I haven't seen Choo Choo in a while. Choo Choo likes to remind me of, I said I will not leave Fallout 4 until I bring the ability to launch nuclear missiles in the game, because I know how to do it. Like I know all the different code elements I would need to pull it off. And I want to put it in the game. The hardest part will be, I think they did something special in 76 to make it so that you could see the missiles from far away. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'm certainly going to try, because I want like a 3x3 Marshall plot that just has a nuclear silo and a freaking, you can launch a nuke out of it and send it anywhere on the map. I want to figure out how to do that. Let's see here. Not crazy. Did Kellogg hire Jake to get him inside the vault? No comments on story content. And God, I hope Codsworth is not the secret gunner benefactor, but I don't know, because I've kind of kept myself a little bit out of the loop on everything that's going on in the main quest. Which part of it is for, I just trust our writing team now that they're going to knock it out of the park. Like the only thing I told them, the only thing I need to be in the loop on is stuff that I have to code. So like, you know, like what do you need mechanically from me, and also tutorials. Like those are the things I care about now. I mean, I care about all of it, but I don't want to like restrain their creativity. Like they know it's possible now, and so I've not, with chapters 1 and 2, like I sat through and gave comments on read-throughs for every single quest. So like I had some input on everything, and I'm sure some of my input was probably like that Fight Club scene, like, can we see that in a cornflower blue? So like I'm sure the writers appreciate that I took a step back, and because while I know I gave some good input that everybody was excited about, I'm sure some of my input was just like, really, like, do you care that much about those 2 words? You know, it's a too many cooks in the kitchen situation, as it gets to be when we have too many people involved in the writing. So I took a step back for chapter 3, so I don't actually know everything that's going to happen. Computer Seg 9. So what would happen if I put the setting to off in balance and on in cost? Doesn't seem intuitive to me to have the same setting more than once. I think, let's try. I'm pretty sure it would sync, like, because it's set up to the same global, but I don't know. But again, the reason for that is, you know, it's not intuitive in that way, but it is, if you don't know what you're looking for, to have a setting multiple places is a good idea. So let's see. Building plan construction cost. Does that turn off down here? No, it doesn't. So yeah, I wonder if the MCM supports that. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, well, now you know. So if you see a setting twice, pick a spot and play with it. But it was done that way because our settings are so ginormous. Like, there's so many settings. It can be hard to figure out where things are. So I would rather have it multiple places, even if it is a little like, wait, why is that there twice? Just to make sure there's a chance people find it. But I'm sure if I exit out of the menu, like if I left that setting, actually we can confirm that. If I test the setting, I wouldn't be shocked. Like MCM actually has a lot of powerful stuff that we're not messing with, because for the same reason I don't go too deep into F4SE is I don't want to get lost in the weeds on something that only a handful of, you know, like, believe it or not, F4SE users are actually the minority. Most PC players don't actually use F4SE. So NMCM requires it. So like spending a lot of time on this is I try to keep it to the bare minimum. So like if I turn this off, now let's exit here. Let's exit all the way and come back in and see if it edited it in the under costs. Yeah, they sync up. So it's just a matter of, there's probably something in MCM I have to do, like there's like all these like scripted things you can do to trigger different things. Like I use it sometimes when you change certain settings in the holotape, it'll trigger like a background code update too. So for example, if you change resource complexity, it'll trigger like a big recalculation of all of your resources. Sonic Phil, I was thankful NPC IDs were listed on the wiki. Stodge got lost somewhere earlier today and I couldn't finish his quest. Yeah, see, that's crazy, the amount of details around that. That was one of those things where I think when we first started working on the wiki, folks who were working on it asked me what the dream would be, and I probably said something like, well, can we make it, I would love to see it as in-depth as like the typical wiki sites that get put together by the communities. And like some of the wikis for Bethesda games are crazy how much technical information is available on them. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but it's pretty wild how much effort people will put into getting these wikis up, which is really amazing. It's a really good resource. Alder Wiki. Speaking of wiki, not SS2 related, but does one of the mod school tutorials cover how to fix custom furniture falling into the ground? CKA, the items have no havoc physics. There is a tutorial for 3D Studio Max for making your own collision. If you made like a static collection and turned it into furniture, the reason it's usually falling through the floor is because you have a movable object, like one of the meshes you used has moving physics, and so you just need to remove that from your static collection, and then you should be good. Like you basically would remove that from the static collection, rebuild the collection with all static items, export it again as a NIF, and use that for your furniture, if that's what you're talking about. But if you made a full custom piece of mesh, then you probably have access to some sort of 3D software, and I do have a tutorial on my mod school for making collision. At least I'm 90% certain I do. It's funny, I can hear all these animals, dog meat and cows right next to me. Oscar Fry, small silly request for you. If you happen to have 2 of the Creation Club Chinese stealth mod, do you think you can make it so that the rebreather Jake gives you can be added to the suit as an upgrade? I mean, I do probably have it, but no, we're not going to be messing with any Creation Club stuff. Somebody else could make that mod if they wanted, but yeah, we're not going to mess with any of that. We have too many other things to do, like like I would say there are some things we might integrate with other content in the long run, but that's such low priority when we have so much of our own stuff to work on. Starkiller Kid, I would auto buy a hypothetical game from KingCast Studios. Computer Seg 9, I mean, Microsoft is on a buying spree. Maybe shoot them an email as if they'd buy the team. We'll see about all that. I think that there are definitely windows for that, of like spinning up a team and getting involved. The thing is that I know, like I work in the software industry, so like I know what's required of that, and like I don't have the pieces for that, because like what there's a couple of things they're buying, and one of them is like having a full team that works well together and like has all of the knowledge bits to produce the software fully. And like I lack a few, like even on our squad, like we lack a few key elements of people that don't know stuff. Like we have nobody who knows any engine level things, and like we have very minimal like real connections in voice acting, and like our art team is very bare bones. Like there's so many things we have, like Koba's gonna listen to this and call me out on the voice thing. I mean more from the perspective of like dealing with unions and such. So like we're lacking a lot of like executives or people with like major experience in managing teams of the scale that would be required to make our own game. So I don't think we would not be an attractive buy just because I spun up a company. So it's like I know enough. I think like I unfortunately know enough about that stuff where had I been younger and more naive and I took the risk, it might have paid off. It's one of those weird things in life where sometimes knowing less is an advantage, because then you can take risks not realizing they're stupid, and then they can pay off. And like I think like that's not an unrealistic thing. Like a lot of companies that get bought out by Google, Microsoft, or some of these big companies, they actually don't have they don't have everything they need to pull it off, but it doesn't matter. They have enough confidence and like balls to do it anyway, and they like can spin it as if they have enough. But I unfortunately am at a time in my life where I have too much on the line to take big risks like that, so I got to play things pretty safe. And so I know a lot of the requirements to pull off software companies, and I'm just like, I'm not quite there. Especially particularly in game development, there's so many holes in my knowledge and our whole team's knowledge of like the industry that I've been too nervous to really put thought into pulling that trigger of like doing my own game. Like I've done some game jams and played around with engines, and it's just like there's so many years of knowledge I'd have to acquire. And that basically would be, to do that, I would basically have to disappear from the modding scene for a couple of years to get caught up. And I don't think any of us want that. We'll see though. I won't say never. Just that's pretty low on my priority list right now, because I have too many other things I'm working on. Helen Love filling in for Tutu. Nukes when. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those probably post chapter 3 launch things where it'll be. So I used to have when the mod was less ambitious, when we were pre SS2, when we didn't have all these quests. I had a lot more time in between major releases to just like experiment and play, and I would just like release weird updates with like new features I was working on or new content. So like once story content is done, then I will have more bandwidth for just like, you know what, this week I feel like I'm gonna make nukes work, and that's all I'll work on. Right now there's like so many folks on the team depending on me to get stuff to them in order for them to proceed with what they need to do, that like I can barely justify time for patching, much less for doing something like that, because that would be like all experimental work. It would be like there's no guarantee this is gonna work. I'm gonna spend unlimited time, potentially unlimited time trying to get this to work. I have very little time for that, unfortunately. Oscar Fry, oh my god, yes, give the GNN ASAM HQ ICBMs. Yeah, ICBMs would be really fun. They would make no sense in the context of our story or anything, but I want to do them anyway, just because they're really fun in 76, and I know Fallout 4 we can technically do it. I hope you won't leave Fallout 4 before making a radio channel with you as the DJ. We'll see about all that. Maybe I will do a just lack of time is why I think that would be the now. I'm on the record saying many times that I find it unimmersive to have my voice in the game, and I think radio DJ would be one of those things where I could kind of wrap my head around it, even though that's like the most immersion rate, because you just get me all the time then if I did that. So I don't know. I'm like kind of against it. Maybe I could train an AI model to copy my voice and then generate the content and then tweak it slightly, like do it just slightly off. Maybe that would be a way I could do it. I don't know. A lot of people have asked me to do that, but I'm like, I don't know. It's something weird hearing my own voice in the game. I am in 2 mods now. One of them is going to be probably pretty obvious. You'll hear my voice. And the other one, the role is so tiny that I bet no one's and I asked not to be credited in it. The second one, I said, I don't care. You can credit me if you want to, because it's kind of a goofy role. Some of you already know about it, but I'm now in 2 mods. If you really want to hear my voice in game, otherwise just turn on my stream in the background. There's plenty of there's hundreds of hours of backlogs of content on my channel you can put on. Let's see. Starkiller Kid, someone who works in the entertainment industry can guess is better at listening to writers than 90% of Hollywood bosses. Well, we need Sarik or Cynical or Indy Cowdy to chime in on that. Am I a good listener to you guys? I don't know. I try to be. I also do often have strong opinions on some silly things occasionally. Like it'll be just like little lines where I'm like, this kind of implies this, and I get hung up on some stupid stuff sometimes. Skywise, the player mod is the better stealth suit. I'm not sure what you're talking about. It must have been something I talked about earlier. Nick Carter, have you heard of Papyrus Tweaks NG for Skyrim? It's new and amazing. It seems it would be helpful for SS2 if reported to FO4. No, I don't know what that is, but anytime people are tweaking Papyrus, it means F4SE, and that's bad juju to me, because it means I'm starting to put time into stuff that I can't share with Xbox players. And I know some of you guys are like, screw Xbox. But they've been along with the ride with us for a long time. I think, like, God, I hope Starfield does the same thing Fallout 4 and Skyrim Special Edition did, which is modding for consoles. One of the things I actually love about consoles is they set up a standard baseline for everybody. So, like, you think about all the hardware that's available. Think about the new NVIDIA series cards and how expensive those are. Imagine if, like, big studios just started making games only for that, and, like, that's what you'd have to invest to play games. Like, you'd say piss on it, and eventually you just stop playing new games. And I think the nice thing about consoles is they set a reasonable baseline that most people can afford, that then you can kind of aspire to. And if you just assume like that is our technological level right now, and that's what you aim at, you get to cast a really wide net and let a lot of people experience your content. So I'm like very pro console. It is a bummer we can't have full engine access, but hopefully, like, with each iteration of the engine, and we've already seen it from the jump to Skyrim and Fallout, each new game, they give us way more power. I mean, like, the number of things we can do on Xbox is wild. Like, almost all of our features are on Xbox. The only things that we're really lacking, other than the fact that they have no space, the only thing that's not really on there is the power grid tools. Like, everything else I've been able to make work for PC and Xbox. So, like, I think there's, while I'm sure, like, the new scripting stuff would be really cool and would probably make my job easier coding, I'd rather, like, have to work a little harder and get to have a bigger audience. Because I can make this stuff because I want to share it with people. But I'm sure it's really cool. Do you know? Do you know how to? Can you summarize what it does? Is it all technical? Or is it something they pulled off without the script extender? 2500 PRC. Could WSFW be used to make a super duper mart with shelves that reflect the vendor inventory? Yeah, I mean the system we have in there to like show the real inventory, it works pretty good. Choo has a mod out that makes use of it. I'm sure it wouldn't be particularly fast with that if you did a whole super duper mart worth of shelves. But yeah, there shouldn't be any limit on it. I usually try to code stuff to bypass the array limits in the game. And Niston, I don't know if you guys have seen his mods. He's got a lot of mods out there. Showed me a cool trick for bypassing all array limits, and I don't even have to do silly stuff like I've done before, where I do fake arrays and stuff. There's a trick you can do in Fallout 4 that lets you get unlimited array size for references, which is pretty awesome. Sorry, all the technical speak for you non-coders. Robert Holt, what is the inspiration for the Sneak character? I don't know. I would have to ask the author for that, but I think it was based on the tribal characters from the older Fallout games, and then it was just like go extreme with like just a really dumb, hyper violent character. That was the inspiration for it. But I love Sneak so much. He is hilarious. We actually have a boatload of new dialogue for him that I've been trying to recruit someone to get that implemented. We actually have we had one person briefly who she implemented the Tom Sanford stuff that we had. So Tom Sanford was another character we had a bunch of expansion for. That got implemented for Extended a couple of patches ago. Sneak was another one where we had ready to go. And then the person who did Tom Sanford, it wasn't working out. And I've got two additional people right now who are trying to learn the ropes to see if they're a good fit for it. Because doing dialogue implementation requires a lot of patience, and attention to detail, because it's very methodic work. It's very grindy. So it requires certain temperament to pull off, and on top of having some creation kit knowledge. Fortunately, I've gotten it down to like a pretty easy set of steps that I can teach, and you know, I think the dialogues there, I've already made all the tutorials and stuff for it, so I have high hopes we'll eventually get somebody in the role of helping us expand all of our dialogue, because we want to expand like most of our side characters. We want to expand their dialogue pools, and like we've got people working on the writing, and some of the voice actors have already agreed and are already starting to record, and like Sneak is one of them. But the last piece of that puzzle to get more Sneak and company dialogues, we just need more help. We need to train some folks in dialogue editing and have them start rigging it up for us. Karbach, hello mate, how have you been? How have you been? I'm doing good. Now that I got past that damn cold and I can speak again. Although I feel like another one's coming on again. I feel like I just recovered in the last couple of days, started recording stuff again, and now I'm feeling like, I got another tickle in my throat. But such is the way when you have toddlers in your house. Like, they are constantly bringing home new stuff. So I feel like by the time they're teenagers, my immune system is going to be rock solid. So I'm just crushing diseases every other week. But yeah, doing pretty good. Trying to get a lot of stuff done this month. I want to get us all caught up. I told you I want to get all the city plan stuff caught up. Like, we got to get the Masters voting up. Still haven't put up the news video for the 28th of November. That's still because I couldn't record it. Just recorded it 2 days ago. So that'll be going up soon. And then I think after that, then it's the Mega Pack, and then I'll be all caught up. So it's going to be a busy month, but then it should there should be nothing left hanging over my head other than Chapter 3, which will feel nice. So I'm feeling good because I got things on a good path right now. Funny that you feel like your voice in the game would be unimmersive. I mean, I can see why, because it's your own voice, but for me, you have basically become the voice of Fallout. Well, that's it feels too meta, right? Like, it's like it will remind you, like, I'm not a character in the game. I actually had this problem a little bit with speaking of DJs. I was really bummed that you can't meet Mr. New Vegas in Fallout New Vegas. Like, I feel like the meeting Three Dog and meeting Travis, or is that his name, Travis? I hate him so much I can't remember his name. Trevor, Travis, something like that. That, like, meeting those characters, like, grounds it so much into the reality. It feels really awesome. And I do not want to put a King Gath character in the game, because first of all, my you guys all would have to assume I just look like Sturgis. So, that look has already been taken in the game. I guess I would just be like, duplicate Sturgis, add sunglasses, done. Character complete. Not crazy. How about instead of a nuke plot, you add a function of the comms plot that allows you to hijack the Chinese sub-nukes and launch them? That could be, that could be doable. I really want because if I remember correctly from the ones from the Chinese sub you can use, I don't think you ever get a visual other than the explosion, right? I don't think you actually get to see, like, a nuke falling from the sky and crashing down. That's the part I want. Like, the first time I experienced a nuke launch in 76, it was so magical. Like, it all just played out perfectly for me. Like, I know there are, because I've played it enough now where I've seen, like, sometimes the nukes can be really lame. Like, you're too far to hear them even, and you just kind of, like, you get the big warnings in your screen, and, like, it's not super immersive. But the first time I experienced a nuke in Fallout 76, it was wonderful. It was just like, I was just in range where I could actually hear it. I could hear, like, all the things it was doing, the echoes in the background, see the light over the edge of the mountain from the explosion. It was just a magical experience, and I'm like, I can bring that to Fallout 4. I think I can bring that to Fallout 4. Let's see, sorry, I'm catching up on chat again. Skywise, the more access they give us, the more bugs we can fix and content we can make for them for free. Yeah, I mean, like, it's actually a double-edged sword. I've found this firsthand. So, Sim Settlements is my first attempt at making moddable mods. Like, usually it's not something I ever concerned myself with. I would just, like, I generally make the thing, And I only make it as moddable as, and this can mean, and when I say moddable, I mean like easily edited. And this goes to like code as well, not just game mods. I tend to be more of I tend to have a prototyper attitude of like, just get it working like as quickly as possible, and then polish it up afterward to get rid of bugs. But I don't tend to spend, this is the first time I spent a lot of time forward thinking on making it modular and making sure other people could edit it. And you know, you can, if you're a coder, you might disagree with that premise, but I find one of the problems with over engineering systems is no matter how much forethought you think you put in, inevitably you need another rewrite, because you know you missed some fundamental thing, and then you start having to hack on stuff. Like it's impossible to create a perfect system. Like so I tend to find that a prototype approach and then iterate over to clean it up is a better coding method. I think that tends to work better, and is more realistic to marketplace dynamics if I want to talk business. Because like I'm thinking as a software developer outside of modding, like I have to pay the bills. I got to do my stuff in a way I can make money. So with Sim Settlements 2, I went all modular on it, and what I found is as I add more features for folks to tinker with, I actually make it harder to mod. And I think the same thing probably has happened between like Skyrim and Fallout 4. There are so many more things you can do in Fallout 4. I think it makes it a little more intimidating and harder to mod. Like making all the records you have to create to get a weapon working is a lot more challenging than in Skyrim. So I think it's a double-edged sword. If you give modders more power, you enable the hardcore modders to do more, but you kind of like intimidate new modders from even trying. So it's a double-edged sword. I think one of the ways we solved that a little bit with SS2 is with our tools with like PRA. If without PRA, I don't think we would have like 3 add-on packs for SS2, because he wrote these beautiful scripts for converting old add-ons, these beautiful scripts for simplifying, adding new content to SS2. And I think like that is something that Bethesda is going to have to start doing too. I think they're going to have to start, if they want to expand the possibilities of modding in their engine further, they're going to have to start thinking about like, how do we set up templates for mod authors to get started more quickly, or to speed up the production of particular types of content. And I'm sure they have to do that a little bit just because like for their own scale sake, you know, you go up to like, I'm sure they have a really simple system for spinning up new planets in Starfield. Like it's not going to be the process it is right now to generate a new world space in Fallout 4, which is and to fill it out. Like that's very difficult. I'm sure they're going to have way better procedural tools. And so I think like across the board, they're going to, if they want to keep expanding what we can do, they're also going to have to start thinking about that of like, how can they package things up in nicer little bits for starting, or invest in like a legit tutorial series, like start treating their game engine and their modding scene like Unreal has taken to do. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed in the last couple of years, like Unreal has gone crazy with trying to expand their user base for their engine, of like putting out tons of in-depth tutorials and stuff. And I think Bethesda probably needs to do the same if they want to have a big modding scene and also offer more power. We'll see though. We'll see what they do. Mod 142. Any plans to make WSFW import-export work with electrical snaps, conduit pipes, builders, vault pieces? So Niston, if you guys are not familiar with him, has released a fair bit of mods on Nexus. Let me bring up his profile and I'll tell you his most popular ones, because I actually don't know offhand. Niston has been working on some really cool stuff with another mod author to get out some tools to help with power related things, and also with importing and exporting of stuff from settlements. And he's created this like universal system for exporting data from workshop items and then allowing other mods to handle it when it gets reimported. And it's something that I would like to plug into Workshop Framework, as long as we can do it in a way that doesn't require a bunch of F4SE DLLs. Then I would like to integrate it at some point, and it will open up the door for that kind of thing of like supporting, you know, full-blown complex contraptions and such. I would like to get that support into Workshop Framework before I retire it. And it might be that I have to like just open up the code to more developers, because, and it already is. I mean, Workshop Framework is out there. Like other people can see all the source to it, and can make and can suggest changes and such. So that might be one of those things that I have to get or let somebody else do because I just have unlimited things to work on. But here I will link you guys to Niston's user page so you can see it's up to 41 different files. So Niston's pretty prolific in the Fallout 4 scene on Nexus. I don't know if he releases this stuff on Xbox, but quite a lot of different mods. And so there's something that he's been working on that he's sent me the source to and asked if I'd be interested in getting it into Workshop Framework. And that was one of the selling points, was that it would allow us to have better support for like complex workshop objects, including powered things. So that is something I would like to see at some point. Yes. Eric Ember Studio, how to get King Gas voice into SS2. Turn his Conqueror videos into Videos of the Wasteland holotapes. Play them at HQ to prepare staff for Chapter 3. You could use... how does Videos of the Wasteland, did they make it modular enough where you could like pick up their projector system and move it somewhere? Like, could someone do a mod to replace that little static please stand by symbol we have in the HQ communications room? Could you replace that with a Videos of the Wasteland? I don't know enough about Videos of the Wasteland. Nick Carter, it's at Nexus Mods. Tweaks and fixes and performance increases. Helps Legacy of the Dragonborn a lot. Oh, cool. I really want to play Legacy of the Dragonborn. I want to do a Wabbajack list for it so that I don't have to go through a mod list. I just haven't had... I like my Skyrim playthrough I started, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, that I've talked about a few times on this stream. Kind of stalled out on me. I got like halfway through the Dragonborn DLC, and then I just had too much stuff come up in life. And then what I always find with Bethesda games is if I take, and it's all, actually I shouldn't just say Bethesda games, any RPG, once I take about 2 weeks off of it, then the next time I go to play it again, I feel like I kind of need to restart because I don't remember what I was doing. Like, the quest logs aren't enough. And part of that is like, I just love starting new characters in RPGs, especially Bethesda games. So like every time I sit down, I'm like, I got an hour, I could play a little bit. I get the urge to start a new character, and then I stop myself because I know that that's a slippery slope. Because when I first start a new character, I also play way too much. Like, after a character's gotten going, I can be disciplined like I do with this with Fallout 4, and I can do, you know, I mean, part of what disciplines me on this character, on these characters I'm playing, is that I'm doing it with the intention of having an audience, and like I want you guys to follow along, so that disciplines me. But generally, when I start a new character, I like overdo it in the early time. Like, I'll put in like, you know, 4 or 5 hours a session for a week straight because I'm so into it, and then I can slow it down. But at the beginning, I don't even have time to do that right now. Like, I have too many responsibilities in real life and in the mod scene that like finding 5 or 6 hours a night, any night, is impossible, and multiple days in a row is really hard. And you know, sometimes the temptations are hard to bear. Like, if like once Starfield comes out, I know that's going to happen to me, and I'm not going to resist it. I'm going to, you know, take care of my family stuff and make sure my bills get paid. But yeah, there's going to be a big lull in my mod production during that few weeks after that comes out. You guys I'm going to disappear for the most part after Starfield comes out, and you guys will see me some number of weeks later. Skywise, Mr. Vegas has a computer. Is that true? Is that canon? I actually don't know. I never dug in. I didn't dig in deep enough to New Vegas to know that. I've played it 6 or 7 times, but I never got so deep into the lore that I could answer crazy stuff like that. Robert Holt, any plan to coordinate the Minutemen and CPD at the HQ? Seems like a HQ type thing. When I beat Sneak, I put him in a pink dress and use him as a Carabiner. That's awesome. That's so much better than people who just murder NPCs. Just humiliate them instead. I love it. That's fantastic. Coordinating the Minutemen and CPD at the HQ. We will definitely open up the door for more like faction integration in the 3.0 patch in Chapter 3, but I can't speak to the exact like the mechanisms yet, because some of them are story involved and some of them I haven't finished the coding on, so I don't know exactly how it's going to work or if it's going to make it into launch. New dialogue, I'll answer in a second. I got to take another drink here. New dialogue for Sneak. So most of the unique settlers in SS2, with the exception of the ones that everyone finds. So there are some that all of you run into. Old Paul, Lily, Teresa Stodge, Hubert, Who else? The Powells, and I guess the Powell, you can avoid the Powells, but we put those off of they're presented to you during the main quest. So like the objectives to go play with them. All of the other characters are not in the same boat, but that batch of characters, those ones that you are introduced to via the main quest, have full dialogue sets. So they support shopkeeper barks. They support like trading commands. Like they're almost as fleshed out as the vanilla settler line set. We put our resources a little differently than Bethesda did. Bethesda leaned very generic because they reuse their voices on like everybody in the game world. Whereas ours were more particular, so we were able to put a little more. We moved out some of our lines away from super generic stuff like hellos and moved them into other things. But anyway, so those handful of characters, there's like a dozen. They're full featured. They have all the stuff covered. Most of our SS2 settlers that you get that either recruiting through the RON or that just show up at your settlements, they have, I don't know, maybe an eighth of the lines that the vanilla settlers do, and we want to fix that. We want to get them like able to respond to more things, make sure they work with like HQ and with our new mechanics, and make sure they have the necessary lines to respond to all that. So we've started reaching out to the voice actors and writers to get their lines expanded, and we're gonna plug all that stuff in SS2 Extended so that PC players can have a more full fleshed out NPC experience. Now we're not doing it on Xbox because they're choked for space. So if anything, I could see us cutting some of the deep line pools for even the characters I just mentioned, because it's nice, but it's still window dressing. It's not required for the mechanics. But for PC players, we want like the director's cut of SS2 would involve all of our NPCs being able to react to all the different situations from gameplay mechanics. But because of the order of production, because like we don't produce like a normal, although I recently saw in the Tad Howard interview with Lex Friedman, is that his last name? He talked about how they've changed their design process, and now they're doing it like we are, which is they're writing and producing at the same time, which is, I think, really awesome. But I think one of the things where we run into problems with it is we don't have enough people doing all the different roles, and so many of us have to wear different hats that we can't keep reiterating on it. Like if we could, like often, like our writing team has to switch gears and be developers in the second half of development for each of our projects. Whereas if they could keep writing all the way through, we wouldn't run into this problem of being like, oh, like now we had this new mechanic and none of our characters talk about it. But anyway, it's I like went off on so many tangents that I've lost myself. So that means I'm getting tired. So I'm gonna wrap it up here soon with the last handful of questions. Let's see here. Excuse me. Do you feel like Bethesda should expand on the idea they introduced with CC to have modding more beneficial for mod authors and have them support MAs more on the way with their knowledge? I mean, I think it's a missed opportunity to not do so for sure. Like I think finding the balance there is tough though. Like you don't want to break your modding scene, because like I think you can go too far with it. I definitely think that they should be giving us more information and more tools. That 100%. Like they need to, it would be very wise of them to have like a set of, like a dedicated set of liaisons in their staff that were just like answered mod authors' questions, particularly mod authors who have proven that they're willing to like put in the work. Like, and they have kind of a kind of person like that. And he's very nice and reaches out to most mod authors who have, who've put in some effort and have released mods that have caught the community's attention. But he doesn't have access to very many things to help us, unfortunately. So like, it would be nice if they would give somebody in that role more resources, like the ability to like, connect mod authors to developers to ask specific questions about information that hasn't found its way into the community yet. That I think would be super valuable. Or, the willingness to be like, okay, we're going to be rolling out a patch. And to their credit, when Fallout 4 came out, You know, there's no proof of this anymore because the Bethesda took down their own forums. But when Fallout 4 first came out, they were patching in new changes to mod capability in those handful of months after the creation came out, which is really amazing. And but I think that it would be beneficial for them to do that in the long term, in the long haul. Like, keep patching in new stuff. Like, look at the stuff the script extender teams are adding and be like, all right, can we do that in a way that's safer and that's easier for us? I think it would be very valuable for them because they would increase the shelf life of their games. Juice had recently tweeted out that the active player base for Fallout 4 and Skyrim is bigger than the active player base of 76 and Elder Scrolls Online, which is nuts, just nuts. Pardon me. I bet you know I was just recently sick, and I'm feeling at 100%, but my body still says there's still some remnants in there. Anyway, so like the player base for their older games is in there, and I think that one of the changes in Bethesda has recognized this. I think if you ever look at the Bethesda merch store, it is crazy how much stuff is in there, and I think that's the correct way to go. Is for you Spaceballs fans, it's all about the merchandising. Like, this is what Disney realized, is that, like, you know, you don't worry as much. You know, you need to, like, at least, you know, make a little profit on your movies and stuff, but really all the entertainment stuff is a driver to get people obsessed with your brand so that they will want it in the rest of their lives, and that's how you make your company thrive. And like Bethesda, I think, has recognized that as well, in that they went crazy on the merch stuff, and they're obviously, like, now willing to spend more time on their game. And that, like, you know, you get those of us who are just obsessed with the brand, and I think mod authors help with that, of like, just keep us in your sphere. It's almost like they create like an invisible walled garden, because we all want to stay in there, and we want to surround ourselves with their IP. And mod authors help to do that, and so, like, giving us more tools and more resources to do it better is a big deal. But yeah, and I think one of the resources is one of the resources that they might be able to offer would be like a better CC program, but who knows if they'll do that. And like the problem with those kind of programs is that it also pisses off a lot of people. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I would be just happy with, you know, give me access to the devs so they can make my coding life easier, because, like, there's some of the stuff we've had to do for SS2 mechanics, like, we had to jump through crazy hoops that Bethesda could have made a lot easier on us. So I would love to see that, and I think that it would benefit, and they should do it. Oscar Fry, will Chapter 3 have anything to do with the cut vault known as Vault 120? We actually talked about it briefly. So I reached out to some people I know who do, like, crazy creature stuff, the people who helped us get Cola in the mod, about, like, could you put an octopus in the game and make it like an attackable creature with special attacks and stuff. And they thought they could, but they unfortunately had to leave the modding scene for NDA reasons. And so we talked about that briefly because of that. It was like, oh man, if we could, like, restore that vault, like, we would absolutely morph our story to incorporate it, but that kind of fell apart. So no, it's not going to happen. All right, let's catch up down here on chat. Oh God. Oh, do we have more dirty chat bots coming in? Height user on channel. All right, I'm trying to find a spot to pick where I'm going to cut off questions. Okay, I'm going to go down to, okay, I got one highlighted. I'm going to answer. So any other questions, you guys hold them off, because I'm not going to get to them. I got a few more on screen here. I'm going to answer. Carva, happy to hear you're getting better and can hear the slight blocked nose. I can't wait to see what the vids for the Masters are like. Yeah, I hope they live up to the hype. I think it's unfortunate it's taken this long. And unfortunately, I'm like, one of the things that unfortunately happened, it's like a double-edged sword again, talking double-edged swords, is like, the expectations from us are so high now because we've been working with Pontus, but Pontus doesn't have time to do stuff like the Masters videos or anything. So it's like the quality of videos on my channel is so all over the place. Like, it can go from total unedited garbage to, like, these high-polished AAA trailers. It's really funny that we're all over the place there. And so I will set the tone and say the Masters videos are not going to be anywhere near as good as these polished trailers Pontus does, because I just don't have that skill, nor myself and Luke, who helped me with the video editing. We're not there. We're not pro game. Like, Pontus literally for a living makes game trailers. Like, that's his job. And we unfortunately, and we can't afford his services. So like he does it out of the goodness of his heart to do our game trailers. I can't also ask him to do a bunch of long form videos for the city plans. Unfortunately, it's one of those. That's one of those like that'd be like one of those dream goals of like if we increased our funding. You know, we're talking about. You know, I would love to in the dream scenario of being able to fund our whole team. I would love also to be able to fund the stuff for you guys in the city plan development cycle. I know we've had these discussions. I've actually had people who participate in the city plan contest a lot in the past. I actually should do that again because I noticed there's been like a second wave of city planners that have come out in the last, I don't know, 6 or 8 months. That have been kind of dominating the contest. I should do another one of those. I don't know what I called it before, but we gathered together a lot of the folks who do the city planning, and we just had a discussion. It was just kind of like, so, you know, see where everyone's at, what they want from me support wise and whatnot. And one of the things we came up in the discussion was that the prizes aren't what drive people to the contest, and that they were actually leery of don't increase the prizes too much. Because if the prizes are too attractive, you'll inspire cheaters, and it'll get too cutthroat. It won't be as relaxing and fun. So, but it would be nice to be able to, you know, do some nice things that aren't monetarily valuable, but are appreciated for the effort. So, like, you know, it would be amazing if we could afford to produce high-end videos of everybody's winning settlements. Like that would be one of those types of things I would love to do. Like if we could afford to have like a full-time videographer on the staff to just pump out awesome videos all the time, like that would be another one of those dream goals. So speaking of Karvak, if you will, I know you've got the server where most people are on, float that idea if everybody would be interested in having like a little round table with me to discuss the state of the city plan contest and whatnot. I definitely am going to have another, like before chapter 3 launches, like once we get all the mechanics finalized, I'm definitely going to have another little meeting for add-on pack authors and city plan authors to show you guys up front all the features so you can start getting your minds prepped for it. But even before that, I think especially because we're taking this month break on the city plan contest, I think it would be nice to have another round table with you guys, see where everybody's at. Let's see. Sandy Smith, thought I'd drop by and say, loving the live streams. Keep up the awesome work you guys are doing. Thank you for saying so. Is everybody still enjoying these live streams? I know we get. I think most of you guys are here. You guys still are? Is this still valuable? I'm still having fun doing it, so I'm happy to keep going with it. And I actually really want to do these 2 playthroughs of showing the other sides of Sim Settlements. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do any building today. I didn't realize how much time I was going to spend questing. But I think that's part of the pacing that comes up a lot in discussing chapter 1, is that there's like these weird blocks where you're doing a whole bunch of building and then a whole bunch of questing, and like I think it needs to be a little more back and forth, a little more streamlined. Like I think we need to give you more quests to build, even though, you know, a lot of people don't need that and are happy to build themselves. I think like you know, somebody brought up earlier, they like to skip the tutorial phases, and that's fine, but I think there's some people who probably would like the opposite of, like, it'd be nice to if you were guided through a situation where you end up with like a bunch of built settlements. I think like both sides would be good. Like that, I think that would be a cool thing to do, of being like, okay, here's some skips, be like, I don't want to do any of that stuff, and then here's also some kind of like dive in deeper quests. You know, you think about like the way Sturgis's quest is, of like he's going to teach you the immersive reasons to do this stuff. We kind of had that with Old Paul, but it's kind of real fast and like all at once, and then that's it. It would be, I think there's a lot of room for more gradually, like, here, let's introduce you to the classes, and like let's give some character reasons for why you would want to build them so that you care a little bit. I think there's room for that as well. Let's see. Last message for the day I'm going to cover, and then I got to go to bed. Eric Ember Studios, I don't know how the video screens work, but I think I'll have to do the research now that I got a new cartoon. When I got a new cartoon going, would love to go the extra mile with it. Teaser trailer coming soon. Oh, awesome. If you guys haven't seen Eric Ember Studios, Sim Settlements cartoons now plural, you've done a couple. They're amazing. Let me find a link to it. My favorite one. I opened up YouTube, and my own stream came up as a recommendation. That's pretty funny, because I must watch a lot of Fallout 4 stuff. Here we go. Gotta find this link. Oh, it's right on your front of your channels. It should be. All right, I'm gonna end the stream by pasting this again. Everybody go watch that again because it's so good. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. I'm going to get some sleep. I will catch you guys all next Wednesday. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the Super Chats, guys. I'll see ya in a week.